Hi guys, hi everybody, hi. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but if you're just joining me today, just let me know if you can hear me. I haven't done a live in a very long time, so just let me know if you can hear me, guys. Let me know. Let's see. If you're joining me on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube as well. So if you want to get the whole experience, I recommend you come on YouTube, because on YouTube I can be able to share my screen. So if you can join me on YouTube, that would be perfect. So today we're discussing DV lottery. So if you have any questions, I'm going to be answering you any questions that you have. I'm sorry, the people on YouTube, I'm on TikTok as well. So I'm trying to look at two cameras. I have my phone right here, and then I have a screen right here. So I'll try to balance the two. Thanks for joining in, guys. Share my live. Tap the screen, guys, on TikTok. Tap the screen. Share the live so that people can come and learn about the green card lottery. The people on YouTube as well, share my live. So if anybody has a question about hosting, especially hosting, now that the results are coming out, please share the live. Share the live so that people can join in and ask questions. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm connected, like my phone is connected to my speaker here. So hopefully, like if I invite a guest on my TikTok, you guys on YouTube can be able to see that. We'll see how it works. I'm not very tech savvy, but we'll try to work with whatever we have. So if you have any questions, please, you can type them here. I'll try to pull them up. Let me see what questions we have here. So I don't know how to pronounce his name, but then he's asking if you can apply without senior 6 certificate. So Haruna and Geoffrey are from Uganda, and when they went to the embassy, they required them to have a Form 6 certificate for Uganda. So Uganda needs Form 6. So I don't know if you don't have it. I know, like, if you don't have a high school requirement, then you need work experience. So you'll need, like, if you don't have high school, you need work experience here, but you don't need both. Some people think like, okay, they need high school and they need work experience. No, you just need one or the other. So for senior 6, if it's from Kenya, I know, like all this country, I can't know your high school or your education requirement for all these other schools. I mean, all these other countries. But then for Kenya, I know is KCSE, Form 4, D-. At least I know for Kenya because I'm from Kenya. But from these other countries, I know about like whatever the other DV lottery winners who are here told me. So they said they need for senior 6, Form 6, and it needs to be certified too as well. So you need to certify it as well. So that's that. If you have any questions on TikTok, if you want to come and ask a question, you can request to join in. Hopefully, when you talk, my speaker will be up and people can hear you on my YouTube. All right, so I'm just going to cover a little bit of just general things about Green Card Lottery. Let's talk about Green Card Lottery, especially the results. I'm not going to go deep into stuff, but then I'm going to talk just the basic. Everybody's asking the same questions on TikTok and YouTube about the Green Card Lottery, especially people who this is the first time applying. So they don't know like what is Green Card. Somebody just told them, let's go to the cyber cafe and apply. So they really don't know what Green Card Lottery is. So now that the results are coming out May 4th, and like people have been watching me on TikTok, people want to know, so what do you need to do next? So the first thing that you need to do, like right now before the results come in, do yourself a favor, apply for a passport. If you do not have a passport, please, my TikTok fans, my YouTube fans, go apply for a passport, because some countries, passports take a long time, 6 months, 7 months. In Kenya right now is backed up. Like you have to be corrupt at least to get it like right away. So make sure like you apply for a passport. So do you need a passport to complete the DS260? No, you don't. You do not need a passport to complete it. So other people who, get their results and then they're like, okay, so how do we fill the DS260 without a passport? Where the passport is required, you can just say other ID, form of identification, or other travel documents. Once you say that, you won't be required to enter passport information. So that's how you can get away with that question. But before you win, what do you need to do? Number one, you need to find a host. That's why I'm here today, because a lot of people have been asking about the hosting. So they ask, like, when is the hosting? When does a host come to play? One, having a host, you need that, because if you're going to immigrate in the United States, then how are you going to immigrate and come stay? You can't live off the street. You need to know somebody here. That's why they need a host for you to complete the DS-260. Don't complete the DS-260 without a host. And don't just get an address online and put in your DS-260. You know why? Because your green card might be sent to that fake address, and then now what? Because what the address you put on your DS-260 is the address that your green card will go to. That's why you need an accurate address. And then, for example, maybe like you change your host address, like somebody goes somewhere else, and then now they come NAFULA to host them, and they put another, host in the DS-260. When you get here, usually we try to change. We log in, and then we change the address. We update it so that your green card comes here. But sometimes you don't get it on time. We do it like immediately you get here, but then sometimes it still goes to the previous host that you put in the DS-260. So that's why it's important that your DS-260 has the correct host address. So before you win the green card lottery, try to find a host first. I know I'm a host. I know I can't host everybody, because there's a lot of people who are going to win the green card lottery that I'm not going to host all of them. I host people who don't have anybody in America. But if you lie and you tell me you don't have anybody in America, there's no way for me to double check that, so that's where there's a problem. So I can't host everybody. So as much as you're waiting for me to host you, also reach out to other people. I know you have, like, if you're on TikTok, you have a lot of TikTokers in America. The only thing that I say, I don't know, like a lot of my people, African people, I don't know why they don't like to host people, but I understand the point where they're coming from, because sometimes you host people and they're very ungrateful. People have a history of hosting people and they become ungrateful. And then if you host somebody and they're ungrateful, then you don't want to host somebody else. And the number one people who become ungrateful are the people who come here on green card. People who come here on non-immigrant visas, usually they're not ungrateful because they know how to hustle. They know they didn't have papers, somebody hustled them for free, and then they had free housing, they had all these things for free, so they appreciate that. So when they get a green card, then you know what, they appreciate more. But then somebody who's coming from Africa, who has no idea about how life in America is, and then you host them, most likely they don't know how hard it is to live in this country if you do not have a host. And that's where the ungratefulness comes in. And I can tell you, like, a lot of American people, like, even if you hold a gun to their head, they will not host an African. And I was one of them before, because I used to see the way green card lottery winners come here. You host them. When they come, they're very humble. When they need that affidavit of support, they'll be begging, NAFULA, please give me affidavit of support. NAFULA, I'm going to be the best. I'll work hard. Wait until they get here and they get their green card and they realize, oh, I can be on my own. I don't need her. They start being ungrateful. And that's what we're suffering from, where, like, people don't want to host more people because of the history of ungrateful people that we've had. So that's why, like, the green card lottery winners that I'm hosting, the first thing I tell them before they even get here, I'm like, even if I host you or I pair you with somebody else, make sure you act good. Even if you have, like, really bad character, even if you feel entitled, just act good until you move out, so that you don't spoil for the next person. So that's how the hosting thing is. So I host people in New York. I have a friend, she was on a channel a while ago. She hosts in Iowa, and she hosts families. So if you win a green card lottery and maybe you have a kid, husband, and you want to come together as a family, she has that option. But I do not host people with kids. And I explained on my channel, one is about, like, just dealing with kids, childcare, insurance, just enrolling them in school and doing all that stuff. I'm just one person, and I have other people helping me, but they can't do that for everybody. So if you come here to me, you need a host, and I'm helping you and maybe your husband. I cannot help your kids. You have to be fair. Like, I can only help both of you, and then you guys, once you become stable, you can either bring your kids here or something like that, or bring them in 3 years. Bring them now, or bring them in 3 years, depending on how financially stable you are. Because I cannot be financially stable to sustain a family, And I host kids like you have to be an adult. Like, you have to be, like, at least over 18 years old for me to host you. So that when you get here, I know you're getting a job and moving out really quick. I don't want to get stuck with people who it's very hard to get stable when you are a parent, a single parent with 2 kids, even if they're 16 and 17, you're the only one working, how are you going to get a place and then like move out with these kids? It's going to be hard for you. So I'm stuck with you for a very long time. So that's why, to avoid that, I really do not host kids, period. I don't host kids, but my friend does. And some people in America, like if you have relatives here, they will host kids. But me, as NAFULA, will not host kids. So anyhow, back to my point. So immediately you win the green card lottery, you need a host to complete the DS260. So there's a place where you put the name of the host and then you put the address where the host lives. And that's where your green card most likely will go. Like I said, again, you might update the address when you get here, but the green card might still go over there. So that's why it's important to have an accurate address. Don't download an address off of online, any address for a school, and try to put it in there. Make sure you have the host address. Let me see if I can invite somebody on TikTok. Let's try one person and see. Let me see if I can hear it on the speaker. If I can hear it. If you get in, just start talking, and then that way I'll know if my speaker is working. And that way, like, the YouTube people and both the TikTok will get the experience. Adoyo? Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Hello, NAFULA.
Hello, hi. What's your question today?
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm also good.
Did you have a question?
So, yes, I really had a question. For instance, I win the green card, and I literally have no relative nor a friend in the US. Anything.
Yeah. So
okay, let me say I don't have a friend or a relative in the US. So is it your address that I'm going to fill in that form that is going to come after what did I say?
Yeah, so like if you apply for hosting, so once you win the green card, I'm gonna mute you so that there's no background noise. But like if you apply for hosting, you know, once you win the green card lottery, that's why I say it's important that you apply as soon as you win the green card lottery, because I can only host so much. So on my website, once I get the number of people I want to host and I filled up all the spaces, I'm gonna close that option so you can't apply for hosting again. So once you apply, maybe you're the first people to apply, I get back to you. I say we have space depending on your case number. You know, like if your case number is 60,000 and then somebody has a case number that's 2,000, I'm going to try to get the 2,000 in because I know their interview will be in October versus the 60,000 whose interview might be next year, the following year in August. So I'll try to, like, you know what, just balance, look at your case number and then get back to you. And then I'm going to tell you, okay, we're able to host you. I'll give you my address. I'll give you my name and everything. But before you go to the embassy, if you're coming to me, I have to tell you information about me. So when you go to the embassy, they will ask you questions about me. How do you know each other? What does she do? Some people, there's somebody who they ask, what status is she in the United States? How did she go to the United States? You know, so they want to know, like, you know, basic information about me. They won't ask like detailed, like, you know, private things about me. But they just want to know that you know who your host is going to be. There's a girl who was denied a visa because she did not have host information. So I don't know why they didn't tell her. Maybe she had other issues, but what she told me, I wasn't going to host her. It's somebody else who was going to host her. But then at that time when she went to the embassy, that person was not answering the call. So she just decided to go to the embassy. And for some reason, they decided to ask her about her host, and she didn't know anything about the host. And instead of, like, you know, maybe putting her on, like, you know, the waiting and then ask her to find a host, they denied her visa. That's what she told me. So I don't know if there was more other reasons why, or just not having a host made her, you know, her visa get denied. I have no idea. So I don't know if you win the green card lottery and you apply for hosting, if I'm going to host you, then I'll get back to you and then you can put my address in your DS260. Okay, so let me, now that she brought that up about, like, you know, applying for hosting, let me just go real quick on my website. Let me see my mouse. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you're on TikTok, it's so hard to see this because people on my YouTube will be able to see this. So I'm gonna go to my page to apply for hosting. Let me see how to add. Yeah, I haven't been here for a very long time. I want to see how to present. I think you add present, and then I'm going to choose share screen. Okay. Let me, let's see. So if you're on YouTube right now, you are able to see the screen I'm sharing right now. This is from my website. And when you land on the page, you see the people I'm hosting. You see a picture of Rumbi. Now we're looking at Joffrey. That's Juma, and that's Quinn, and then that's Haruna. And so these people are the people just came in. This is Michael. If you're looking at my screen, if you're watching it. So here, this is the guest and host pairing. So this is where you'll apply for hosting. So you see when I scroll down on my website, there's a form there. And it says DV lottery winner sign up. People are filling this form without even winning the green card lottery. Why are you wasting your time? You're filling all this form, wasting your time, bundles, typing in, and we'll just delete the entry. So there's no point of completing this form if you've not won the green card lottery. You're just wasting your time. So you just go there, and then it says options. The first question is, first it tells you, did you already win the green card lottery? People have not won and they say yes. So why are you saying yes and you didn't win the green card lottery? We'll just find out anyways. So when you get in, it says, did you win the green card lottery? It says, you say yes, you put your first name, date of birth, and what country you're from, and then the gender and all that stuff. And right now we're not giving affidavit of support. So affidavit of support is not here. It tells you right here that we're not providing I-134 because I don't have enough sponsors at this time. So you just complete this form, and then you have to agree and click send. So once you click send, I'm going to get the form on my end, or my assistant will. And then when she sends it to me, then depending on your case number, then I will get back to you. And how do I get back to you? I will not text you on Facebook. I will not text you on any social media. I don't do messages on social media. So if you've texted me or messaged me on social media, I don't respond to those. So that people don't start scamming you, because people will be texting you. They'll be like, messaging you saying this is NAFULA, and it's not. So I don't respond to messages. I only respond when you contact me this way through my website. So like you see here where you fill your form, it says you have to enter your case number, and then you have to enter your confirmation number. So you have to do both confirmation number and case number. It's important you put those information in, because if you don't enter that, we will just void your entry. We'll just delete it. Why? Because you need confirmation number and the case number to confirm if you won the green card lottery. A lot of people are trying to get me to host them. Students, people on visitors visa, people on green card, maybe spousal visa, people petition the visas for them. They have a green card, but they did not win the green card lottery. I only host people who won the green card lottery. So if you wanna get in for me to get back to you, the first thing, you have to put your confirmation number and case number. That's the only thing that tells me you won the green card lottery, because all these other green cards, they don't have confirmation number and case number, just DV lottery winners. So if maybe you won the green card lottery and maybe you applied for hosting and you did not put your confirmation number and you did not enter your case number, that's probably why I haven't gotten back to you yet. So if you need to do it again, you need to go back and fill it again and put your confirmation number and your case number, and we get back to you. And also, like I say with my, let me remove this. Also, for payment, like my thing is very transparent. The way we do our program, everything is transparent, including the payment. So let me share the screen for our paid services. Like if you can see there, so it says our paid services. So if you need an address, it's only $50. And why do we charge for that? Because in case your green card comes here and maybe somebody else is hosting you, we will mail that green card to you at no additional cost. So that will be the money. Like if you have to mail the green card to you, maybe you find another host, that's the money that's going to be used to mail that green card over there. And then the second one over here, so that's the basic package. It's just you need an address. And then the premium package is the DS260. So the DS260 is a pretty simple form. I do videos about completing the DS260. For some reason, African people just want you to do it for them. As much as there's a video, there's instructions, there's everything, the way like everything is on there, it's clear, it's easy. They want me to do it for them. And because I am doing for you, I have to charge you, right? I have to charge you. So this one you pay 150 just for the DS260. I don't charge very expensive the way other people do. I just charge for my time. So when I complete your DS260 with you, usually I complete it with the other person. Like either we do a Zoom or we do somewhere where we're sharing the screen and then we're completing it together. I don't submit the form because I'm just helping you. I'm not like, you know, a lawyer or something like that. So I don't submit your DS260. So after we complete it, you're going to review it again, and then you submit, and then you have to print the copy of your DS260. So this DS260, you will take it to the embassy with you. The page with the barcode, you need that for your embassy. So that's why I make you, like, you know, submit it yourself. And then, so that's the premium package, the DS260. And then the last package is the platinum package. And then this is 650, and this is the hosting. So for example, if you know, like I'm going to host you, like literally I'll pick you up at the airport. I'll host you in one of my houses. That is the hosting package. And that comes with, like, we'll pick you up at the airport. We'll help you apply for the social security card. We'll help you apply for the state ID. Pretty much we'll help you apply for everything that you need to start a job. After that, we'll apply the job for you. So you won't be applying the job because, like, usually for here, you know, if you're from Africa, usually the way our resumes are different. The way you apply for jobs over there are different than here. So we'll help you find those jobs. We'll send you the link. And if you're not able to apply, we'll help you apply for a job. And if you get a job, for most of the people that I'm hosting, some people, they don't know how to answer questions, like, you know, interviews in America. Usually I help them with that because I myself, I'm an employer, I employ people. So I interview all the time. So usually I tell them, like, okay, this is what the employer is looking for when they're asking these questions. So that is applying for a job. And then we'll give you an address, whatever the house where you're going to stay. Usually your room has everything. Everybody who comes from Africa and they come for me to host them, the moment they land in the US, that night they will make dinner, they will wash dishes, they will sleep. You don't have to go anywhere other than shop for groceries. So usually you're all set. Before you come from Africa, you just, like, you're transferring from your room in Africa to your room in America. You'll have people around you, DV lottery winners. So if you don't know how to do something, they can help you. The way we live here, like I say in my videos, most of the people that I'm hosting is like family. Here we live as a family. I'm not hosting you. You're part of our family, NAFULA Connect family. So usually when I host you, I make sure, like, everything is all set. So I introduce it to everybody. So you'll know people who are living in different houses. You'll know all of them. You'll meet all of them. If you need anything, maybe you don't have money for food. Maybe you're starting a new job. You ran out of money. You don't have money for Uber, or the bus is $2. But then some people, maybe they used up all the money. They don't even have Uber money. You can say, hey, Juma, hey, Elia, hey, Haruna, can you lend me $20? I'll give it back. And sometimes they have a bank account, and before you get here, you know, apply for social security numbers and all that, you don't have a bank account. So if you want to book an Uber, you're not able to do it because you don't have an account in the US, right? So guess who's going to help you? The people, the DV lottery winners that are living in that listing. Those are the people who are going to be your family. Like I tell people, and I tell everybody, I'm like, when you come to America, it's different. You know, when you're in Africa, family, blood, and everything, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father are the most important thing in your life. When you come to America, everything changes. The person you live with in the house is the most important thing, more than even your mother, more than your father, more than your family. I know it sounds weird, but that's the reality on the ground. Why? When you're hungry, your family is back home. Are they going to give you food? No. When you get sick and you have to go to the hospital, that person, the DV lottery winner, is the one who's going to help you go to the hospital if you're sick. If something happens to you, who's going to help you is that DV lottery winner in the house. Your family, your father, your mother, whoever is in Africa, they're important, but they're not any good when you come to America. You need somebody who's with you right there. And that's what people don't understand. And when you come here as a DV lottery winner, you'll understand where I'm coming from. When you say, like, you know, family sometimes in Africa, they push people in America into depression. They have no idea. Maybe that's not their intention, but they're always asking for money. They always, somebody lands here, is like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. They haven't even gotten a job. They're just bombarding them with calls. Somebody, all of a sudden, they're sick. Somebody is getting kicked out of school. Somebody is doing that. One thing, this person was in Africa. They were not helping the family. They did not have a job, but their family was okay. But now, lo and behold, they're in America. Now the family think, okay, they'll all die if they don't send money. You know? So that's why, like, you know, when people come here, I try to talk to the DV lottery winners. I tell them, listen, you are number one priority. If you do not have food, don't send money home. If you don't have money for, like, you know, busing, whatever, anything, do not send money home. Why? Because you're sending money home, they're just using, and let me tell you, some people, even I saw somebody literally, their parent is the mother, takes a sister to go to the hospital and take pictures. They're not sick. They go, they pay the nurse or whatever, whoever they paid the nurse, and then they put an IV in, and there's a drip. And they send the image, and they send like the videos of this sister dying in the hospital so that they can get money. That's how sometimes some family will stoop low to just make you, you know, send money back home, which is not right. But then, you know, you can't control that, right? It's the reality. Like, you can't control that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you come here as a DV lottery winner, you are number one priority. If you need to go to school, don't work overtime that you don't go to school because you need to help people back home. You can help the little that you have, go to school and build yourself. In 10 years, 5 years, you'll appreciate what you did, because guess what? This family is not going anywhere. Even if you finish 10 years, 5 years after you graduate and you have more money, you'll still send money, because they never get satisfied. Even if, like, you tell, let me say, like, take 10,000 US dollars, you're like, I'm going to send you 10,000 US dollars and then leave me alone for the year. Trust me, it's never enough. So prioritize yourself first. Your mental health is important. People are walking around depressed. They're working over 16 hours because of people back home who don't even care about them, you know? And if you want to know, like, your family back home in Kenya or whatever in Africa, they don't care about you, stop sending that money. Maybe next month, just say, you know what, I'm thinking of, like, doing this, and I'm not going to be able to send you money. Tell that people back home and see what happens. You will not get a single call from everybody. Nobody will call you. People call you because you're sending money. Stop sending money. You'll wonder why your phone is silent all of a sudden. That's how you know what people, they just think like, okay, they think you in terms of financial support. They don't think of you as a person. They don't call you to say, hey, Nafula, hey, you're in America, you're working. I heard maybe there's an eclipse over there like yesterday. Are you okay? The traffic is bad. Or there's snow in America. Oh, it's cold over there. How are you feeling? Are you sick? Are you okay? How are you handling the snow? Or, oh, do you go to work? What did you eat? How are you doing? Are you sick? Just find out how somebody is doing. The first thing hello, money. Hello. Oh, you are there. Send us money. It's always about sending something. It's not about just to find out how you're doing, which is sad. So that's what it is. So anyhow, I was talking about the paid services. So when you pay the $650, that's for your hosting. And then when you get here, one thing about that is it's gonna take you a while before you get a job. It's gonna take like some people 3 weeks, some people 4 weeks to get a job, because you have to wait for your social security number. Michael got his social security number like maybe after 3 days. So he came really quick. So Michael got the social security number, and then to get a state ID, there's things we have to do to get you the state ID. So because I've been doing it for other DV lottery winners, so when you come here, I know what you need. Like if I need to send you mail or whatever, I already send it before you even land here. So when you come here, everything is streamlined and is quick, so that you can get you working and, having a job. So usually like you pay for the first month, and then when you come here, when you get a job, you pay for the other months. And if you do not have a job, it's completely understandable. I know where you're coming from. So for some reason, if you do not have a job, you don't pay for the month, or you don't pay for the few days you won't have a job. But then when you get a job, you have to pay back whatever you owe. But like I said, I have not had any issues with anybody. And if I'm hosting you, for one thing, I do not have a lease. Usually some people have like 3-month lease, 6-month lease, 8-month lease. I don't have a lease because, like I'm saying, when you're coming to me, you're coming, I'm going to host you as a family. So like I don't do leases for one. I just tell you, you know, this is the month, this is how bills work in America, and this is the time to pay for the bills. And everybody pretty much, like, before, they just like, they just tell me, oh, we sent you whatever, we sent you this, we already paid this. I don't follow anybody. Everybody's up to date with their payment, and I don't even have a list with these people, you know. So, and also, like, you know, people are asking me, how long do you host people? It varies, you know. It varies how long I host people, because, like I say, there's somebody who comes here, they don't speak English, they can't get jobs, they only, you know, the jobs are limited. So I don't want to kick somebody out, because what's the program about? My program is about, like, getting people DV lottery winners, giving them, you know, a head start so that they can succeed in America. So if I kick you out after 2 months, like, literally you're not stable enough to move out on your own. So if you're not able to move out on your own and I'm kicking you out because I have to make money, you know, it's not morally correct. I know some people do that, but I don't do that. I don't kick you out. I don't have any list. I don't tell you how long I'm going to host you. When I see, like, you're just stable and, you know, I feel like, you know, you have a good job and stuff like that, you can move out. But I don't kick somebody out because I have to let other people in. The other people can wait, but I'm not going to kick somebody out on the street because somebody else is waiting. And also somebody asked me about, like, you know, like, do you put 9 people in the room, 7 people in the room? I don't. Why? Because, like, when I do something feeling like, okay, if somebody did this to me, will it be fair? You know what I'm talking about? So when I host you, I'm not going to put people like you're living, like somebody was saying on my TikTok, they put them like wholesale. I'm not putting people like wholesale. I know people can make money. As much as you make money, there's also the human part of, you know, somebody. So I'm not like, if somebody put me like, I'm an adult, I'm coming from Africa I host people who are adults. How am I going to put 7, 8 adults in one room? First, people who ngorota, you know, ngorota is like Swahili, people snore. You know, those people like chimneys. So people snore like tractor trailers. And if somebody is trying to sleep and somebody else there is snoring, so how is this person going to sleep and then be ready for work? You know, so that's how I look. I put that into account. I don't want somebody trying to sleep and then when you turn right, there's a bed there, somebody looking directly at you. Like, you know, like, we are adults, you know. I don't want to do that to people. So usually when I host you, for my rooms, there's single rooms and then there's like shared rooms for 2 people. It's big enough, it can accommodate 3 people, but I wouldn't put 3 people unless, like, it's absolutely necessary. Like, maybe somebody has a visa that is expiring in, like, you know, 2 weeks, you know. So I wouldn't let that person's visa expire. Definitely I'm gonna, you know, try to get them in. But for right now, we don't even have shared rooms. Right now, every room is single. But then now we have run out of single. There's one person who actually from Kenya who just took the last single room. So I don't have any single rooms. The other ones that I have are double rooms and they're shared rooms. And I host, like I said, and I have other people around me who are hosting too. So it's not like I'm not piling 9 people in a room. So if you're looking to stay 9 people, so you'd rather just pay a little bit more and have some privacy, like 2 people max, than pay less and literally 2 months you're staying like you're in a shelter. If somebody puts 9 people in a room, that's like a shelter. What's the difference between that and a shelter, you know? So that's what we are talking about. So that's about hosting. Let me see if you have any questions on YouTube. I see there's a lot of questions here. Let me just see if I can find one. And then somebody's asking, how much do I need for accommodation? If I win, go to my website, nafulaconnect.com, click on the paid services, which I just showed, and then you can choose your package. Let me see. Somebody's asking about my email. So the only way to contact me is through my email. Nobody has my phone number. Don't find me on social media because my social media platforms are run by my assistant. So like if you literally send the messages, usually she'll send me only messages that I need to see. Hosting, somebody who has a question, like, you know, they're going to the embassy and stuff like that. So if you send, you want to come work here, you want to come do, they won't send it. I won't even see them. So there's no point. So don't find me on social media. Go to my website. When you go to my website, like all the pages, like, let me just try to share one screen and show you how easy it is to send me a message. So like when you go to my website, like this one that I'm showing you right now. So this website here, if you want to send a message, you just come all the way down. You see, like all the way down, when you go, all my pages down here, you see it says contact us. There's an email address there. That's my direct email address. And then also, if you don't want to send us an email address, like if you put your first name, your last name, email address, phone number, and a message, if I get that message, I'll get back to you. So you just send me an email or contact me on my website. Don't try to message me, because like now my TikTok messages are like, I can't even, there's a lot of messages there. Nobody reads them. So make sure you contact me on my website. So again, I host everybody from all the countries in Africa. How do I say it? I host people from all countries in Africa. I think that's better English. Yeah. So anybody from Africa, I prioritize African people, but like I said, the person coming from Fiji is not in Africa. So usually I host, but then I prioritize African people because usually I know where they're coming from. I'm African too. I know where I'm coming from. So I prioritize African people. I don't care about tribe. In America, one thing, nobody cares about your tribe. In America, it's different. Nobody here, like here, as long as you're African, they're like, oh, where you are from Africa? Where? Nobody cares about your tribe. So here, tribe and everything doesn't matter. So there's no, like, you know, somebody will discriminate you based off of your tribe. And somebody was asking me about, like, you know, having racism and stuff like that in America. And I was like, where in New York, I've worked here, I lived here, I haven't seen like anything significant that I was like, whoa, there's racism. No, I don't see it here. But then, like, look at it. We just, like, you know, African people just like to point fingers. They're like, oh, American people are racist. You know, they're racist over there in America. But then look at your life in Africa. Like in my country, usually there's elections, usually election year. You know, during the election year, people fight. So these people look exactly the same. They're all black. They look, everything's the same. The only difference is they speak a different language. And they kill somebody during election because they speak a different language. Your language gets you killed. And then you're complaining about somebody with a different color being a racist. When you yourself, during election, you don't want to talk to somebody with a different tribe. So what are you trying to do? Fix the tribalism first before you try to think about racism. So racism is not going to be an issue if you've lived in Africa and you've had like all those stuff, like you can't even get a job because you speak a different language. Racism is not going to touch you because you've hardened up already, right? But anyhow, I don't see any racism here. Any job, as long as the good thing about America, you go to school. Once you go to school, you get your certificates and everything. Like here, nobody's going to care about, like, you know, as long as you're qualified for a job, you go interview, they think you're the best candidate, they'll just hire you for the job. So I don't think there's any issues on racism. All right, let me see. Any questions? So Remy is asking, if I win the DV lottery as a foreign trained nurse, what is the way forward to be able to continue as a nurse? So this is like, I'm a nurse myself. I'm a registered nurse. I'm in school for my nurse practitioner, but I'm a registered nurse currently. So what I can say is depends with the state. So for people who come to New York, there's two ways to, to validate your credential or whatever nursing. Usually you are certified, you are a registered nurse in Africa, but you're not a registered nurse in one of the 50 states of the United States. So New York has a good program where they have their own certification. Like if you have to send your license to register for the NCLEX, you do not have to go through CGFNS. You can pay, and it's cheap, it's like $140. And then your school will send the documents, and then your licensing board will send the documents to New York State. Once they review those documents, they will allow you to take the NCLEX in New York. And taking the NCLEX in New York, you don't need English. Like, the other states, they require you to do like English requirement. New York State does not have that. So if you're a foreign trained nurse, you just go, register through New York State, and then you take your NCLEX. If you're a DV lottery winner and you take your NCLEX and you pass and you become a registered nurse, you just walk into the next hospital and you start working as a nurse. They don't need any other requirement because one, you already have your permanent residency, you already have your social security number, you already have a nursing license, so you just up and go. So it's easy that way. But if you're not in New York, usually you'll go through CGFNS, which is a little bit more expensive, but they do the same exact thing. With your documents, verify your nursing licensing and whatever to get approved to take the NCLEX in one of those 50 states of the United States. So with the New York, either you pay $140 or you pay the $600 to be allowed to do the NCLEX. So usually for the nurse, no problem at all. As long as passing the NCLEX is the problem. Because usually like the way we do nursing here and back home, policies, evidence-based practice, probably maybe some countries don't do or practice that. And just like when you walk into, a hospital, even the equipment there, just like, maybe a blood pressure cuff looks different. Like maybe even the pump, in Africa and here looks different. So when you come here, it's going to be challenging just to adjust to the way we do things here. And then you have to see, embrace diversity, different cultures and stuff like that. The different thing, like maybe in Africa, if you get a patient admitted who's a male, and then you get a male patient, and then somebody visits them and is their husband. This is a man and this is a husband. Usually in Africa, they have something to say about it. In America, it's different. We embrace everybody regardless of what they're doing and their culture. That's none of your business. So if you're in healthcare, you have to start thinking along those lines. Like whatever you believe in, it's you, but don't project that. You just embrace everybody's culture, diversity, and all that. So that's the only challenge. Other than that, everything is okay. Let's see. Somebody's asking if I link people with the family that hosts here. I don't, because that's the work of a travel agency. I am not a travel agent. I just host. So if you want somebody to link you with somebody in Texas, somebody in whatever to host you, just pay for a travel agent. It's not going to be NAFULA. I just host. If I can't host you, you have to find another host, but I'm not going to connect you with somebody else somewhere else. I don't do those services, but travel agencies do. So if you know, I don't recommend one because I know there's a lot of scammers out there. So I'm not going to recommend one. But yeah, you can get a travel agent to do that for you. All right. Somebody's asking about if I can host a family of 6. No, I don't host kids. I only host adults. And I do only two maximum per family. So this is the thing. Like a lot of people are going to win the green card lottery. They don't have hosting. Why would I host 5 people from the same family than host 5 DV lottery winners? Instead of helping 5 families, I'm helping 1 family with 5 people. Why would I do that? Then what's the point of the program anyways? So the goal is like to make a lot of family in Africa, have the same opportunity. Because I know like if you come here, if you have your children, you have your husband, you can petition for them. So even if you don't come with them immediately, down the line, you can petition and they will come here. But then if somebody is a DV lottery winner and they don't come here within the 6 months or before the medical expire, then guess what? They will never come to America again. So I prioritize that because I feel like somebody who's pushing like 6 family members for me to host them, they're actually being selfish because they're not thinking about another DV lottery winner who needs the same space. Try to get like, okay, let me go there and work hard and bring my kids. Don't try to bring like somebody. Life in America is expensive, especially if you don't have money. How are you gonna have somebody host you 6 people? 6 people in America, that's too many people in the house. You can like even to find a family member who will do that for you is not very easy. So try to like, okay, I can go there, work hard and bring my own kids versus putting your burden for your whole family to that one person who's working overtime to even survive. Okay, let me see another question here. Let me see another question, and then I'm going to go to my TikTok, and then I can get some questions from there. Let me see. Somebody's asking about funding and whatever, like bank account. So usually for the green card lottery, they don't need your bank account. Usually if the US feels like you're going to be a public charge, then they just go ahead and ask you to bring the FW support. And with adaptive support, I said, you just need to do the one I-134. Don't do the 864 because that's legally binding. Legally binding meaning if you complete affidavit of support for somebody who's petitioning for a family member, maybe marriage petition, any petition, maybe they're trying to bring their mother, their kids here, and they tell you, hey, you have a good job. Can you complete the I-864 for me? And I'll be a joint sponsor. You do that at your own risk. I say, if somebody tells you that, run as fast as you can. Why? When you come, this immigrant here, you already signed, you're financially responsible for them. So like, even if like you're a joint sponsor, it doesn't mean anything because you're making more than the actual sponsor. You are the main sponsor. That's how it works. And so if, for example, this person comes here, maybe you sign for a total stranger, maybe you sign for somebody's wife to come here or somebody's mother to come here, and maybe they get admitted in the hospital and they accumulate a bill of $150,000 US dollars. Who do you think is financially responsible for that bill? Is the sponsor. That's why you need to be careful. Or maybe, for example, they don't like to work, and then they go to the government. They're like, hey, I can't work. The government gives them free housing, free food. Guess who's gonna pay this money back to the government? Is the sponsor. So that's why, like, a lot of people, they're just like, oh, why don't you just want to provide sponsorship for family-based visas? It's not like you don't want to provide family-based visas. You don't want to be, you want to be responsible for strangers. Why? And the income guidelines are very, like, if I wish I had it over here, I would have pulled it up and showed it to you. Like somebody who's making like 40,000, I think they can support like 4 or 5 people, I think, something like that, for 40,000. So if you have a family member in the US trying to look for affidavit of support, unless they're disabled, number one, either disabled, or number 2, they're just lazy and they don't want to work. So they don't want to work, so they don't make the enough income, and they want to stick it to a stranger who works hard to file for them. No. Here, African people, we're hardworking. Go to work. Instead of coming to me asking for affidavit of support to bring your wife, go to work. That's all I can say. But then for the green card lottery winners, I do affidavit of support for them because it's the I-134. It's not legally binding. So with that, pretty much they just want to know, like, okay, this green card lottery winner, when they get here, at least they have somebody who's going to house them, give them food, give them this, give them that, give them that. So I have like sponsored some people, because some people in Africa, literally without knowing anybody here, they can't come here. So with the sponsorship, like if I have sponsor from Ghana, from Zimbabwe, from whatever, like Rumbi just got a stranger from Zimbabwe who gave her the affidavit of support because she didn't know anybody here. So there's some people who want to help people from back home. You're like, I'm a Kenyan, I want to help a Kenyan, I'm going to give them affidavit of support. So they come to America, and so that if they're from Bungoma, we can go back and develop our Bungoma. So that's the key. So that's why African people do the I-134 for the green card lottery winners only. That's the only thing. Like 134 is good. 864 family petition. If somebody asks you for sponsorship, ask them, is it for a green card lottery winner? If they say yes, go ahead and do it. If it's for other things, run. I'm telling you, run. And if you don't want to listen to me, complete that form, and then down the line you'll be like, you know what, I wish I listened. So now, for right now, I'm not doing affidavit of support because I don't have sponsors. The ones I had, I gave everybody who went to the embassy, so they already got their visas. So I don't have any sponsors at this time. So that's why, like, on my page, on my website, I say, like, I'm not providing any affidavit of support at this time. Don't ask for affidavit of support. If you fill that form and you say you need affidavit of support, I'm not going to get back to you, because we are not doing affidavit of support. We're just doing exclusively hosting, because affidavit of support too takes a lot of time. You connect these people, they start talking, and then some don't know how to fill that form, so I have to guide them. I'm like, this is what you put here. It takes a lot of time too. So I don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary. But yeah, for right now, I'm not doing that. All right, let me see if I can invite somebody here. Let's see what Lagat, when you come in, just start talking, and then that way the people on YouTube can hear you. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna look at these comments here. So somebody's asking, Ghana embassy is performing poorly when it comes to DV interview. Which embassy do you recommend to transfer my case? I'm from Ghana. So I have somebody that I'm hosting from Ghana. His name is Michael. He went for an interview in Sierra Leone, and he said they do very well. So Michael did not know anybody in Sierra Leone. He did not have that place as his residence. What he did, he moved there 1 month before the interview. And then he said he met a taxi driver, and the taxi driver was able to find him a hotel or something like that. So they lived there for 1 month. And then when he went to the embassy, they did not ask him about why is he in Sierra Leone. Who he just says like, yeah, I have a friend here. That's all he said, and that's it. They didn't ask him anything else. And Michael's case number was, I think, 19,000. 19,000, and he got his visa in January, I think he said. I think if I'm not wrong, January, he already had his visa. And you can see like maybe a lot of people with 19,000 in Ghana embassy, they're not scheduled up to this time. So if you can transfer your embassy, the one that I can speak for that I know somebody used is Sierra Leone. The other ones, I don't know. But Sierra Leone is a good one to transfer to because Michael actually used it and he was able to get his visa. Lagat, are you connected?
Yes, I'm connected, please.
Okay, what's your question?
Hello.
Yeah, what's your question?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so pretty much Lagat is asking like, what can I do to win the green card lottery? The only thing you can do to win the green card lottery is to apply. That's what I say, is to apply. That's one step towards winning the green card lottery. Number two, you need to meet the requirements. You know, like if you uploaded a picture, maybe you applied with a picture with a blue background, already you're not gonna win because that's disqualified. They need a picture. They have on their website, when you go to DV Lottery website, they have guidelines of how they want their picture. They want 600 by 600 pixels. It has to have you have to look at the camera. So there are some things they want the picture a certain way. So if you submit a picture with a white background, or if it's not 600 out of 600 of 600 by 600 pixels, you're gonna get disqualified before you even get to the draw. So that's how Africans get disqualified. Or sometimes somebody says, oh, right on the application it says do not enter or do not apply or enter kids who are over 21. Your kid is 27. If you put their name there, what are you trying to tell the system? This is an adult. This is not a kid. So that's how you get disqualified. So the first thing is to apply with the right requirements. And then the rest is luck. Let me tell you, it's luck. I know I won 2 times. I put my confirmation on my 1NL. So people thought I was lying. I didn't win 2 times. But then I have my 1NL everywhere. So if you look at my videos, you can see my case numbers that I got. I won the 2012 and 2013 DV lottery. And that was the first time I was applying. And then when I applied the second time, but then that was 10 years ago, I used the same exact picture. The only thing I changed is the properties and the date, because the picture has to be less than 6 months. So I used a different date on that picture. But like I said, it was 10 years ago. My brother, the same thing. So what happened with my brother, I applied for my mom. I applied green card for my mom, and I added my brother the first year. And my brother did not win. He was in Form 3 at that time. So the next year, I didn't have them take another picture. I just used the same picture, but then I edited my brother's picture. The first one, I think I applied, and the thing was like down here. Like it was cut down here. So I brought it up, I edited it, and I changed the date. And then I applied for my mom and added him. My mom, I did the same thing. And then I applied for my brother, and then my brother won. So what I'm saying is, first have the right picture. The second thing is just luck. If you're lucky, this is just like luck. Like if you go to play SportPesa, when you play these money lotteries, it's the same exact thing. Usually they run a draw, and then if you win, you win. So there's no way somebody's going to tell you, I'm going to help you win the green card lottery. They will help you by telling you the right requirements they used. The rest, you just have to you and prayer and God. That's all. That's all you need. All right, let's see another one. I don't know if my moderator is Winnie. If you are there, just bring one person at a time. I don't want to bring all of them because they're on speaker. So I don't want them to be. Let's see. Somebody else has a question here. Let me see. So somebody's asking, do you verify university documents or just high school? For the most part, usually it's high school. That's the minimum requirement that's needed. Usually you have to verify your high school. Some countries, like in Kenya, you can go to the NEC, and then they can send results that way and stuff like that. Or you can have them certified the way Haruna did in their country. But usually, for the most part, it's high school. For can you hear me? What is it, Clinton?
Yes, please.
Okay, what's your question?
Please.
We'll do your question first. What is your question?
Okay, my question is, one, I want to ask you one question for personal listening. How can we get maybe your number for you to host those who are going to win? Because I don't know if you have an email account where we've been messaging you so that you can see those people who want people to host them. Because I've been trying to,
So Clinton, if you want to contact me, go to nafulaconnect.com. You can either email me there or go at the bottom of the page and send me a message there. It still comes to me. I don't provide my number. I don't provide don't contact me on social media. Go to my website, and that's the only way I get back to somebody.
Please, on TikTok or
no,
YouTube?
My website is nafulaconnect.com. If you go to nafulaconnect.com, you'll be able to contact me that way.
All right. Okay. That's fine.
All right. Let's. What's your second question? You have another question?
Yes, please. One more question. I just want to ask that after the DV lottery, like, why is it that some people will not get the interview date? What let me say.
Yeah, I know what you're asking. Yeah, I know what you're asking. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect you and then I'm gonna answer that. So he pretty much asked, like, okay, you win the green card lottery, why are you not getting an interview and somebody else is getting an interview? So I'm gonna clarify that a little bit. So for the green card lottery, when you winning doesn't guarantee you a visa. That's one thing. That's why when I tell people, after you win, don't go over there selling your property, don't go over there quitting your job first. You quit and do all that after your visa is in your hand. So when you win the green card lottery, you get a letter. So when you go over there on the website and then you apply, let me see if I can pull it up here. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can just give me 1 second. I think I had a copy here. Let me airdrop and then I'm gonna share. Just give me 1 second. And then I'm gonna show you how all right, so this is it. All right. So give me just a second. I'm gonna go in there and show you an example of what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm gonna share again. I don't know where it is. Just give me 1 second. I don't know how to, because I wanted to share the page, but apparently it's not. Let me do it. Just bear with me. I'm gonna send it to myself. All right, let me try to send it to myself and see if I can pull it up that way. Okay. Got my Gmail. Thanks for your patience, guys. I'm trying to. No, I can't see it. Anyhow, but try to refresh. Yeah, sometimes like to be a vlogger is a lot of work. but it's coming. Just give me 1 second. All right, I think now we're good. So I'm gonna pull it up here. So let me say share. All right, so I think I'm able to share. I don't know if you can see that. Let me put it on a full page. I don't know how to enlarge that, but then that's what I'm talking about. Like if you're on TikTok, like I know you're not able to see it, but if you're on my YouTube, you're able to see that. So when you win the green card lottery, this is the letter that you're gonna get. So my brother, he won green card in 2016. So when you win the green card up here, you see up here, so this is the date, and then this usually is your name and then your address. His name was David, but then I blocked the other names. But when you come down here, you see where down here is, this is your case number. So when you win your green card lottery, and then you enter your last name, your confirmation number, and your year of birth, if you won the green card lottery, you'll get a letter like this. And this is called the 1NL. When you see people say 1NL, 1NL, 1, so this is the 1NL. So down here, there's a case number. So this case number, you see the way it says 2016 Africa, usually 000, and then your case number right here. I blocked that out, but so you'll get like the lowest case number, so you can get like even 1,000, all the way to like last year, I think I had an applicant with 121,000 people got selected. So I had a case number that high. So the guy asked, why do some people get an interview and somebody else does not get an interview? It's because of this number down here. And I'm going to be explaining that as case number. So with the case number, the lower your case number is, the better for you. Low case number, the smaller it is. So somebody who has a 4,000 case number, that's a low case number. Somebody who has a 100,000 case number, that's a very high case number. So how does the interview schedule case numbers? They start with the low case number. It depends with your region. Usually there's Africa, Asia, Europe, whatever. They have AF, and it depends with your region. But most of my followers are from Africa. So yours is going to say AF. So if your case number is 2,000, your interview will try to schedule you fast. So all of you, like after you win, you have to complete your DS260 right away. It's important. But somebody with a case number of 100,000, even if you complete your DS260 right away, is not going to make any difference because you have a high case number. They will not schedule you as much as you completed it on time. Somebody who has a low case number, like a 2,000 case number, when they complete the DS260, everything is in there, they will be scheduled in October. So those will be the first people with a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, low case numbers. They get scheduled. Usually they start processing the visas in October. So they will be scheduled in October, November. Those are the low case numbers. So he asked, why don't other people get interviews as much as they won the green card lottery? The green card lottery, they only give 55,000 visas. 55,000, this including the principal applicants, the wife, and the derivatives. So out of the 55,000, if one family has like 10 family members, husband, wife, and 8 kids, and all of them immigrate to the United States, they've taken 10 spots, so 55,000 minus 10, right? So they will give all these visas until they reach the 55,000 person. Once they reach that number, they stop processing the visas. You know what I'm talking about? So what I'm trying to say is, for example, you're 80,000, and then now somebody with a 55,000, they already given the visas, because like if you are selected and you are like at least 50,000, you have a chance of getting an interview. And also you have to consider, like, it's not just case numbers, it's also your region. And then not only that, it also depends with how your embassy is performing. So I'm going to show you how so after you win, there's something that's called a visa bulletin that you're supposed to keep an eye on. So when you see your number up is current, it means like you'll be contacted to be scheduled an interview. It doesn't mean that you'll be scheduled, but then it means like, yeah, they're able to schedule you because your number is current. So let me show you, let me try to see if I can get, yeah, all right, let me share this screen again. So let me stop sharing that and let me share the visa bulletin so you can look at what I'm looking at. So we'll look at the screen for April. So this is the visa bulletin for April. So when you get to the visa bulletin, I lost it. Oh, right here. So you see, these are family sponsors. You're not interested with that because you're a DV lottery winner. So you have to go all the way down that says DV lottery. So you go, usually it's down here. So you see like the visa bulletin for last month, the April, Africa was at 45,000. You see this number here? So 45,000 means like if your case number is 40,000 and below, you can be scheduled for an interview. So now we're in April, right? So this is a visa bulletin that came out for May. You see, it says 52,000 right there. So anybody with 52,000 and below, you can get scheduled because your number is current. So what does that mean? It means like the visa available, like your number is current. Like if you're in America, you can, apply to adjust your status, assuming like you already paid your visa fee and all that. If you're in America and you don't know how to adjust, maybe contact me. But you need to pay your visa fee before like your number becomes current. Then you can send the paperwork and everything to adjust your status. But that 55,000 to be scheduled, it depends with the embassy. And that's why Ghana, like Accra embassy, is considered a crappy embassy, like really bad. Kenya didn't do very well last year, but this year at least they're trying. But what I'm trying to say is this. So for example, your number is, you are 52,000, or maybe your number is 40,000. You can be scheduled, but if your embassy is performing slow and somebody with 19,000 has not been scheduled, they're not going to schedule you before they schedule the 19,000. So which means you might lose your chance just because your embassy is slow. Let me give you an example of last year. There's a lady, two of them. One I was going to host had a 35,000 case number. The other one had a 37 case number. In Kenyan embassy, Nairobi embassy. These two people did not get an interview. They were scheduled for the interview, but then last year, like September 7th, they exhausted, like after 55,000 visas. So in August, if they finish giving 55,000, they'll stop the process. So it doesn't matter it's not like the fiscal year is October to the next year, end of September. No. So when the visas are exhausted, they don't have any more visas to give, they'll stop the process. So these people, 35,000, 37,000, in other embassies, that's a very low case number. But because they were in a poor performing embassy like Nairobi, they did not get an interview and the visas got exhausted. So for example, in an embassy, like I think Algeria is the embassy that performs very well, I think. So if you're in that embassy, somebody with a 60,000 case number can get an interview and get interviewed before somebody who has a case number of 20,000 in Accra embassy. So as much as your case number is low or high, I know this is confusing for you, but if you go to do some research, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But your case number is good. If you're like within the 10,000, probably you're like guaranteed a visa, but in Africa. But some people, like depending on how your embassy is performing, you might have a low case number and do not get an interview. So the interview depends on your case number, number one. Number two, it depends on how your embassy is performing. I hope I answered that question. Okay, let me see if I have any other questions here. So let me see if we have any. We have people. I think my my moderator is not here. So let's see. So I'm trying to pull questions from here. I'm trying to read. Maybe I need my glasses. Maybe let me wear my glasses. All right. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. So, Waveya?
Hi, Nafula. How are you?
I'm good. What's your question?
Okay, so I have about 3 questions. I've been following you for a while now, but I just wanted to understand this because you say that you can only host a limited number of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you say that the number of the case number also determines the priority.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to know how you vet it because if I've applied earlier and my case number is high and someone else who has a low case number has applied later,
Mm-hmm.
How do you
States the same situation? Is it after speaking to us on Zoom or something, then now you can make a decision?
So like if you apply sooner, usually like I'll get back to the lowercase number, but if you applied first, I'm gonna get back to you as well, because you need to complete your DS-260. So because you applied, I'm gonna look at your case number. And then depending on your case number, I'll get back, like I said, so you're just worried, like, okay, you might apply sooner, but then somebody with a lower case number applies and they get in. No, because what I'm thinking, you see, when it comes to hosting, somebody with the 2000 case number, they'll get to America. Maybe they might get to America in October. So by the time you get interviewed, they'll have moved out already. You see what I mean? Because your case number is high. So maybe your case number is 50,000. So you go to the embassy in August. This person who got here in October, if they are stable with job, they'll already be out. So you as well can use the same exact space. So it doesn't matter, like, I'm going to take somebody with low case number, and then people who applied sooner with a high case number, I'm not going to host them. No, it doesn't work that way. I get back to them because they can get in quicker and get out. But I will get back to you too, because you need a DS-260 to put the address there. So I'll get back to all of you immediately with the DS-260. But then with the hosting itself, that's when I'll check with the case number.
Okay. So my second question is this with regard to, you say that you're only hosting at the moment, you're not giving sponsorship. So now when it comes to the interview that we will be going for, do we need to know the information about our sponsor separately as well as the hosting person?
No.
Are we allowed to have it to be different?
You can do that, but then this is what I recommend to everybody that I've hosted. So maybe you get a sponsor who says, you know what, I'm going to give you sponsorship, but I don't want to host you. I don't have the ability to host you. But then maybe you reach out to me and I have space, right? And I say, I'm going to host you. When you go to the embassy, ask your sponsor to tell you information about themselves, so that when you go to the embassy, you just say, this is my sponsor and this is my host. That way you don't have two people. It's just making it complicated for no reason. You just have the sponsor be your host. When you come to America, you just go where your host is. You see what I mean? So one, you can just either when you land, Haruna had a sponsor in Missouri, not a sponsor, a host in Missouri. So when he went to the embassy knew he was going to Missouri. But then when he came, he just came through New York. And then when you come through New York, you just update the new host. You just say the other host said they can't host me, so I had to find another one. Port of entry, everything is clear. They don't even ask you whatever. They just say, okay, sure, you can go to your new, because they know at least you have somebody to go to. So they will need the name, they will need the address, so you'll update it at the port of entry, and that's it.
Okay. So my last question is with regard to the payment of the $650 for hosting. So now I've seen on the website that you have said that it's we should be sure that when we are paying that money, because immediately you receive it, you start purchasing stuff.
Exactly.
So let's say I've gone for the interview, or at what point am I paying for this? Once I've received the visa or before?
So that one, usually with the $650, it depends also with your case number. So if you have a case number, like for example, somebody with a 10,000 or lower case number, I know your visa is guaranteed unless something happens. So the only time we give refunds is for the people, like for example, you go to the embassy and then you get denied a visa, or maybe you don't have a sponsor and then that way, your visa cannot be processed. You get denied a visa because of that. Those ones who stay in Africa will refund that money, because Africa, that money is a lot of money. But somebody who's coming to America, if you choose to go to a different host, that's on you. Because what I'm trying to say is this. Can you imagine I'm having to host 50 people, right? They pay for hosting. If I have to get friends with the houses over here, I'm like, you know what? I have people coming. Maybe I'm out of space. I only have 2 houses for DV Lottery. The rest I do Airbnb. But then if I have my 2 houses filled for DV Lottery, and then I reach out to my friends who have houses, and I'm like, you know what? There's people coming here from Africa. Can you please, instead of renting this house, can you give it to me so I can host people in that house, right? I have to pay that money to guarantee the spot, right? So if we guarantee, and then we buy blankets, we buy everything for the house, and then you come to America, you decide to go to somebody else, that's on you. Because now we use the money we already bought. How are we going to refund all this stuff? Are we going to take back to the store, the bed, the mattress, the stuff we used for cooking? We can't return that stuff. You see what I mean?
Okay.
So that's why I say, if you have another host, if there's something over there, your ancestors are telling you, you might find another host in America. Do not pay. Pay if you're sure. And people usually, like, if you have a case number of 70,000, 80,000, 50,000, I won't have you pay for hosting, because what if you don't get an interview? So usually that's why when you apply for hosting, you don't pay until I get back to you. On my website, it says, do not pay until you've applied for hosting. So after you apply for hosting, you put a phone number there, you put your email address. I'll get back to you, and then I will advise you. Do you just need to pay for the DS-260 if you want help, or the address only, or do you need to pay for hosting because now you're going to the embassy and I have to get your room ready before you get here? So I'll tell you if it's advisable to pay or not.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, let's go to somebody else. Frank, I think Frank is next. Frank?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hi, what's your question? Let's do it really quick because the YouTube people, they don't get the TikTok stuff. So Frank, get in, and then what's your question really quick?
Okay, my question is, if I applied with my wife, and my wife does not have that high school certificate, can it deny him a visa?
No.
And for me?
No. So usually, like with the principal, yeah. So if you're the principal applicant, and then you won the green card lottery, you need to meet the requirements. You need to meet the high school requirement. You need to meet all the other requirements that are needed to come here. For your derivatives, they don't need to. But you as a principal applicant needs to do that. The only thing that comes into play is like you apply with your wife, and then both of you win. It can happen. It happens. Wife wins, the husband wins. So when both of you win, one thing you should check, one, who has the most, like who is most likely to meet the requirements. If your wife is maybe they have high school, you don't have high school, you go with that case number. If maybe you have high school, they don't have high school, maybe you start with the requirements. So once you finish the requirements, check what case number they have. If you have a 2,000 case number, they have a 5,000 case number, probably somebody with a 2,000 case number, they will get the interview first. So you have to check the case number if both of you win. Check the case number. Number two, check who's more likely to meet the requirements without any issues at all.
Okay. The second thing, if things concerning with affidavit of support, is it okay for me to carry some money so that I can present at the embassy? Can it help me as a...
So usually, like I said, like if you're high risk for being a public charge, they will ask for I-134, or you can support yourself. This is the thing. When you want to support yourself in America, it's no longer in Kenya shillings. It's going to be in American dollars, which is very expensive. So Kenya shillings, maybe you might have like 1 million over there. It looks like it's a lot. Over here, it's not. Because like maybe if you come to New York here and maybe you want to get an apartment is $2,000 per month. In 5 months, with no any other bills, utilities not included, in 5 months, your $10,000 US will be gone. You see what I mean? So to prove that you can support yourself using your bank account, you need to have good money in there. You see, you need to have dollars in there. You need to be rich. People in Dubai do it. And they have one person from Dubai who did it. Because like I'm telling you, those people have money. You think people have money. They sent you their bank account and I'm like, this money is only for one person? All this? They have money. So a person like that, they won't have any problem approving their visa using the bank account. But like somebody from Africa, usually I recommend just get an affidavit of support. It's easier that way. All right, let's go to the next person. Everybody, let's ask one question because I see there's a lot of people waiting. All right, Kay, go ahead. I think you need to unmute your mic. Oh, Winnie, if you're there, unmute her mic. Kay, okay? Hey, Kay.
Yeah. NAFULA. I wanted to ask, see if let's say I'm a young girl and then I won and then I have my visa have been approved and everything, right? And then I don't have enough money. Is it possible you can host me for me to come and then work and pay later on? Is it possible?
So I was doing that before I had a lot of people to support. Like literally somebody like Geoffrey showed up with no single dollar in his name, So I used to do that before, but now I really want to do it, but I don't have the money to do it. So if you have sponsors out there or somebody you can recommend to send me some money, or if you send me some lions here on TikTok, maybe I might be able to I might be able to support people that way, because I just don't have the financial capability to do that. Already I'm putting in a lot. Like even if you pay the 600 is not going to host you in America. We have to put our own money too to make sure you're comfortable when you get here. So like now, like if you don't have money, my friend, it's going to be a problem. Because say you want to be hosted for free and there's 10 people who paid for hosting and they're looking at the same space. So usually I just believe when you get your green card lottery, even if you go to your area MP, you go to your wherever there are politicians and everybody, go to church, go everywhere, say, I have a visa to go to America. Can you please help me with this money? I'll pay you back. People will do a fundraising. You're coming to America. If you're coming to America, money shows up. And I know this. I'm telling you, I've seen so many people. Money shows up when you're coming to America. So as long as you have a visa, trust me, you're not going to have a problem getting a ticket or getting money for hosting or anything like that. Your people back home can help you with the money. When you get here, you can pay back. That's number one. Number two goes back to the people being ungrateful. Green card lottery winner, I'm saying that because I'm a DV lottery winner myself. Like I said, I've seen DV lottery winners come here. They're out of the green card lottery people, I can tell you, they're most likely to be very ungrateful. There's so many green card lottery winners here who came and took money from, I can't tell you the number of people. Some people, some friend or whatever, they gave them money for ticket, they gave them money for whatever, and they never paid back. And they just walk around thinking like, oh, it's okay, I'm owing somebody this money, there's nothing they can do. So for that reason, I don't lend money for anything. I'm like, if you want to come to America, you can work hard and come here. If you really want, if you win the green card, I'm telling you, if you want to come to America, you'll come here. It's very possible. Everybody will lend you the money. So that's all I can say. So yeah, so no.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's go to Nyaboke, and then I'll try to get some questions from my YouTubers too as well, YouTube people over here. Nyaboke, you have questions? I think you need to unmute the mic. If not, you can go to the next person. So that way, like, I will run through them real quick. Winnie, I don't know if you're there. You can unmute her mic. Let's see.
I have a question I was asking. I applied for the green card lottery. What if I do not win it? There is any way you can connect me?
No, I don't. I used to help with student visa, visitors visa, all those stuff. Now I don't, because DV lottery is too much work already for me. I have to hire people to help me with some of the stuff. So I know how to do it, but I'm not going to do it because I don't have the time. But I would love to do it, but I don't have the time. That's the only downfall with that. All right, let's go to the next person, Winnie.
Hello, NAFULA.
Hi, what's your question?
Yeah, so my question is brief. I wanted to know if there's a way that we could also connect with some of the winners, maybe through their social media. I realized most of the previous videos on your YouTube, maybe you mostly put ask them if maybe they have a social media in terms if someone wants to connect or something like that.
So what are those? Yeah, a lot of people have asked that, so I'm gonna answer that question, because I do, like, you know, a lot of DV lottery winners, they are somebody's mic is on. I don't know, let me mute this one. Winnie, you can mute user somebody. So a lot of people usually they ask me, okay, so we are seeing interviews with Michael, with Haruna, with everybody, you know, they're like, can you connect us to this person so that we can get information from them? And I don't. Usually when somebody comes to my platform to do an interview, as you know, like, have you gone to any TV station and asked them to connect you to the person who was on the interview? Usually they have, like, you know, they have policies, like you can't just give information about Haruna, about whoever, because people will misuse you. Once they will be emailing them all day. These people are working. So unless they say it's okay for me to do it, and even if they tell me it's okay, I won't do it. I'll tell you to find them on social media. Why? Number one, they're telling you these stories from their experience. These people are not immigration lawyers. All these people I'm hosting, they just happen to win the green card lottery, just like myself. and then they went through that experience, and they're telling the experience. They're telling you what they did based on their situation. It doesn't mean like when you go, if you're a DV lottery winner from Uganda, you're going to have the same experience. Yours might be different. But if I connect you to Haruna, maybe Haruna did not certify the documents. And then when you go to the embassy, they tell you, why didn't you certify your documents? You'll come blaming Haruna. Haruna is the one who told me to do this. So all the interviews I have on my YouTube channel, informational purposes only. If you want extra, one, you can contact an immigration lawyer. Two, if you want the green card lottery, you can contact the embassy. If you're already scheduled, and ask them this question, do I need adaptive support? Is my high school? You can contact them and ask them, or contact KCC and ask them. But don't ask us, because one, like I said, this is informational purposes only. I'm not an immigration lawyer. If I was an immigration lawyer, I would be very happy to give that information, but I am not. So I'm just doing this because we want to help people, like the DV lottery winners. They get here and they're like, yeah, we are family. Like Haruna says, let's give this information. So somebody, like Rumbi said, when she won the green card lottery from Zimbabwe, she looked all over YouTube. She couldn't find a single video of somebody who won a green card lottery from Zimbabwe. So she had to research everything, which was hard for her. But then because Rumbi did an interview, somebody who wins from Zimbabwe will know how to process a visa just from watching the video, you know. It's easier, your experience will be different. So these ones they're not gonna give you any advice. So there's no point of having their contact. If you find them on social media, you friend them over there, it's on them. But me, I'm not gonna connect you to them. And then when something happens, you're like, Nafula is the one who gave me your number. That's not gonna happen. So if you wanna find them on social media, they're on social media. Haruna is on TikTok and stuff like that. Elia, Juma, and all that. You can find them as whatever you want, but I'm not gonna give you that information for that reason, because they're not lawyers. Okay, let's go to the next person, and then I think I'm gonna, let me see. YouTube, the thing is like I have to read the questions. So somebody is asking here on YouTube, if somebody wants to move out after becoming stable, do you help them find housing as well? No, I don't, because that's too much work for me. Like I said, I'm just only one person. So if you get a job, usually you start like where you're working, you talk to people. How do you find apartments here? I'm not going to co-sign a lease for you. That's not happening. Once you come here, the only thing I help you is getting hosting when you come here. When you come here, you fly solo. So, excuse me, I don't help with that. So let's see. Somebody's asking if how fast should you look for a passport? Start applying now. You don't need a DS260. You don't need it to complete the DS260. But if you have a low case number, your interview is scheduled in October, you might need it because you'll have to need it for the interview. So just get that done as well. All right, let's see. Anybody on TikTok? Wanga?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your question?
Mwangangi.
Mwangangi, what's your question?
My question is, there's this, there's that form you are calling DS260. My question is, I'm still using the old passport. Can I use the same information there on the old passport on that form?
So the passport that you use has to be valid. In America, everything you use has to be valid. So if you're using a passport, make sure it's 6 months before it expires. So if it's going to expire in 6 months, that's probably not a good one to use. But you have to, that's what you have and it's not expired. First, it has to be not expired. You can complete your DS260 with that. And then when you go to
expired, the passport is not expired. It's only the old passport. You know, it is not the e-passport. It is the
that's fine.
Passport.
Like if you didn't update it to the new passport, that's completely fine. Because like if you go there, if they need like, and then if it depends on the country, like ask Kenyan people. You know, I'm not in Kenya right now. Ask the DV lottery winners, did you need the new passport, updated passport for your interview? If they didn't need that, and then your passport is still valid, and then they tell you can use that. If you can use that passport, your old passport, to fly to Dubai or to fly somewhere else, it means you can use it to fly to the US. That's how I look at it. So just make sure, because I don't want to say yes or no to use the old passport that's still valid, make sure you double check with your country. Make sure like that passport, you can use it for travel. And that way you're okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't accept that old one because the government said like we changed.
Yeah. So you see, like so if the
how much time? how much time do I need like to get the new passport?
So, like I said, it depends with your case number. So once you complete your DS260, then depending on your case number, you might be scheduled the first month or maybe in August of next year, September of next year, depending on your case number. So to be safe, you just get a passport. Because when you need it, you'll have it than need it and not have it. You know what I mean? So go ahead and apply. Like now that they told, like somebody just said, like in Kenya, they don't accept the old passports. I have the old one, which is expired. I use the American passport right now. So I don't know about like the old one. But like I'm saying, like if the government says you need to update, then they should do that. It shouldn't even be a question. If they told you need to update it to travel, then go ahead and update that before you even start up using it for DS260, because it means like maybe probably it's not valid. You can just do your DS260 without the passport and then get the new one, and you can unlock your DS260 and put that information in there. And sometimes when you do your DS260 without a passport, in certain instances, you'll have like the embassy schedules you before, you know, you can unlock, because once you're scheduled, sometimes they won't unlock your DS260. You just go with a new passport for your interview. All right, let's go to the next person.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me see here. Cedric, you can ask your question.
Yes, hello, wonderful.
Yeah, yes.
Am I audible? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, now I'm from Namibia. I just want to find out. I'm relatively new here, so maybe I've already addressed the questions I might ask you. But I just wanted to know, can you give me a first response as to how much is required to settle in the US if you win the lottery?
So I can't give you that. I'll just say that real quick. I can't tell you that because it depends on what state you go. It depends with your host. So if you go with your host, maybe you have a brother in the US and they'll say, okay, I'll host you for free. So you don't have any expenses, monthly expenses. So you can go to school, settle quick, or do stuff like that. And you get somebody else where you have to pay rent, and it's a lot. So if it's a lot, then you're not going to settle quicker. Or maybe you get somebody with a reasonable price, and that way you can pay your rent and then focus on either working overtime and moving out. Or so it just depends on your host and what state you're going to and the opportunities that are around that area. Like if they don't have jobs there, like if your host is where like maybe Arizona in the middle of nowhere, like not in the city, but in the villages over there. Sometimes you don't even have bus to go to school or go to work. You don't even have like jobs around you. So if you don't have jobs around you, how are you going to be stable? You know what I mean? But versus somebody who maybe lives in New York and then everywhere is a job. So they go to work, they can buy a car quicker because there's jobs opportunities. They can be stable quicker, you know, so it depends with the state, your host, and everything else. So it's a bunch of things, a lot of factors, not just one.
I hear you. The second question I have is regarding qualifications. Is there a certain level of qualification you need to have before you relocate to the other side?
Yeah,
like,
you just
for instance,
for green card lottery,
for
the green card lottery winner is high school, equivalent to 12 years of study. So you have to make sure like your country and the US high school is equivalent. So that's only they need. And then if you don't have high school, you need work experience. There's a website where you check what work experience qualify, because not all of them do. So you have to check that, and then before you decide to process your winning, in case you win. Okay, let's go to the next person so that we get only one question.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, let's who's next? Now let me see. It's hard to. Let me go up here and see if you get in. Is it Chaps? Chaps, maybe. Anybody, you can ask whoever is able to like ask a question. You can ask while I look at that. Somebody's asking, are they the one paying for my flight, or I'm the one to pay? That's a very good question. So a lot of people who win the green card lottery, you know, applying for the green card is free. So people think like, you know what, once I win, they'll give me a house, they'll give me, you know, they'll pay for my flight, they'll pay for my expenses. Nobody's paying. Only applying for the green card is free. After you win the green card lottery, everything else is very, very, very expensive. Who do we have? Dave?
Yeah, you have
okay.
Just
yeah, what?
764.
Yeah, what's your
Hello,
question?
you can hear me?
Yeah, what's your question?
Yeah. Okay, I have two questions. The first one is, I'm married, but I played my last day for the dvlottery. I did play as a single, and just want to know, in case if I was post-election, you see, what happened? Is it possible for me to include my child and my wife in my document, please?
Okay, so I'm just going to answer one question per person. So we'll just do one question. So you're asking like, okay, you applied as single, you're married, and then
Yeah.
So this is the thing about the DV lottery. The number one reason why a lot of people get denied a visa is because of whatever you just mentioned. You applied as single and you're married and with kids. So once you win, if you add this wife and you have a marriage certificate with a date before you applied for the green card lottery, or the kid's birth certificate states a day before you apply for the green card lottery, you'll be denied a visa because you lied. That's the number one reason people get denied a visa, for doing mistakes like that.
Okay.
So if you applied as single, you cannot. The only time you can add somebody is if you applied and then went, and got married. Then that way you can add your new spouse to your winning. Or maybe your wife was pregnant and then now they had a baby. You can add them to your DS260 as well, because that's a new happening, But whatever happened before, if you didn't add them, you cannot add them later.
But in my case, we got married a long time ago, and I have a child. Now my child is not, let's say, 10 years. But the thing happened with me the last day when I played the lottery, they were available. So I played.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is like the US don't care if they were available or not. You cannot explain. If they were not added, the moment you add them, you're gonna get your visa denied. So you decide what you want to do. But just know like you cannot add them unless you marry your wife, and you can only add your wife. You cannot add that child because that child existed before you apply. So whichever way, so I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next person.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Who's next?
Hi, Nafula.
Hi, what's your question?
Well, I just wanted to know about hosting. Is it possible for if I have a minor 14 years?
No, it's not. I don't host any kids. One, like I said, this kid, you're coming to me, you'll be unstable already. Like you need financial help. You need I need to find you a job. I need to drive you places. And then I'll also need to enroll your kid in school, find school supplies, find if there's need parents at school, I have to drive you to their school. I'm not going to do that. That's a lot of work because I have my own kids and I'm hosting other people. So I don't have time. That's why I only host adults. I have a friend in Iowa. She hosts kids and the families because she can give you an apartment and stuff like that. But I know because I'm hosting a lot of DV lottery winners, I'm not going to do that. I don't have time to do that. So I don't want to tell you to come with your kid and then I neglect you guys. That wouldn't be fair. So I'd rather just tell you from over there that I'm not going to host kids. And some people ask me how do you know? If somebody comes there and then they tell you they're coming and then they bring their kids because they know over here there's no kids, right? Somebody, some people are just shady. I'd be like, don't bring your kids. And then they bring them to America with them. As much as it sounds harsh, I will not pick you up at the airport with a kid. So you'll have to find either fare to go back or find somebody else who's going to host you. If I tell you don't bring your kids and you bring your kids at the airport, I'll just leave you there. Because one, you have betrayed my trust. I'm hosting you as a stranger, and then now you want to bring me all these kids to take care of. So as much as it's harsh, I tell everybody who's getting on a flight, I'm like, don't make a mistake of coming with your kid, because the only thing I can help you, I'll give you a number for a shelter. You either call the shelter and go over there, because I'm not going to take the kids to this listing. Because, for example, I'm hosting 5 people in a listing, right? All of them are adult male, and maybe there's females too. So I bring your young daughter who's maybe 8 years old, 10 years old. One day this kid maybe wakes up and say, hey, Elia touched me. Elia touched me, or Juma touched me. Now that's the case because they'll believe this kid. And I don't want to put the other DV lottery winners in that situation because of anybody's kids. I'm not doing that. So if you have kids, you can figure out what to do with them. But then I don't host kids for that reason, just to keep everybody safe and then to make it easier for everybody. I'm helping, but I'm not going to be taken advantage of at the same time.
And is it possible if maybe I can leave them behind and then I come after?
Like if you do not have a host, you just leave them behind. Either you can come 6 months, which is going to be hard to be stable to actually support your kid. If you're single, it's going to be very hard. But you can leave them and then you can petition for them when you're ready. Like you come, work. Because here in America, I have 3 kids. We need to add more people first. So let's add 1 person or 2 people at a time. That way it's easier. Yeah, so I'm not gonna be like, what was I saying before I got interrupted? Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. But anyhow, what was your question again? You said you can ask, so you can bring them later. So 1, you can petition for them. 3 to 5 years, they can come. And it's easier if you leave your kids there, you become stable quicker because you can work overtime and buy a car. You can be stable enough to get an apartment to bring them. But if you have kids, you don't have childcare, sometimes you cannot work multiple jobs. First, if the bus has to pick them up, maybe the bus comes at 7:30 or maybe comes at 8. You have to be at work at 6. Who's putting this kid on the bus? Maybe they get off at 2. You're at work until 7. Who's getting this kid off the bus? So that's the challenge people don't understand. But it's so hard if you're a new immigrant, especially single, and you bring your kids. It's going to hold you way back. Way back. Childcare is expensive. I get a nanny over here to watch my kids, $25 an hour, and they don't do anything. They just watch them like TV. My youngest is 4 years old, so they don't need much watching, but they just watch them like they're watching TV. They can't even take a cup off the table or just sweep, or they just watch the kids like they're watching TV. Why? Because if you're hiring them to watch kids, if they do the dishes and this kid gets hurt, they will be answerable because you are hired to watch kids. Why are you washing dishes? So it's understandable, but still, it's expensive. It's inconveniencing. So if you have a host who's your relative, bring your kids. But if you have just a stranger, the kids is gonna be tough. All right, let's go to the next person.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So somebody here said, I'm going to answer the previous question before we get the next person. One about the flight ticket. So after you win the green card lottery, nobody's paying anything for you. You'll need to pay the $330 interview fee. You'll need to pay the $220, but the $220 for the green card you can pay while you're here. You need to pay money for the medicals. You need to pay for the transportation and all that. I did a video on my TikTok and even on my YouTube, the cost of DV lottery of processing. So you can go watch that video and see how expensive it is. They just lie to you. Application is free. That's about anything free you're gonna get. Everything from there is downhill. You need money. You need a lot of money. So go watch that video and then go from there. And then this one, what documents do you bring to show that your relationship was before winning the green card lottery and got married? Me and my girlfriend have been in a relationship for 4 years. Yeah, so if you've gotten married, you need a marriage certificate. The date on this marriage certificate is the one that will save you. If you're from Kenya and then you applied as single, usually Kenya, they allow traditional marriages. So you can get like affidavit of marriage. So once you get affidavit of marriage that said you were married in 1999, you can use this affidavit of marriage to get a marriage certificate. But this marriage certificate, it has to say marriage under customary law since 1999. So that line there is the one that will save you. So if you're a Kenyan or a country that accepts traditional marriages, that's how you can get away with, like, if you applied as married and you don't have a marriage certificate. Everybody else where they don't accept that, then you have to be married and have a marriage certificate to go to the embassy. How do you prove your relationship? Do you have any kids? Kids are a sure bet. Yeah, you created a whole human being. So definitely you're in a relationship. Number 2, or maybe you bought like property together. You have a house leased together, or maybe you bought some properties together. Okay, you had a wedding. Do you have pictures of those weddings? Did you invite people to this wedding? All right, when we're in a relationship, definitely you're communicating. How are you communicating? You have text messages. Good night, I love you, whatever. Those text messages, they need that. Either on social media, even you can print them out and you're like, okay, this is a history of relationship. So there's so many things that can show that you guys, are married. They go there, they're like, okay, when did you get married or whatever? Or when did you meet? This one is saying this thing. Usually, sometimes if they suspect your relationship is fake, they will literally put you and your girlfriend or your wife in 2 different rooms. and they ask you the same exact questions. So if it's true, you got married for real, and you know each other, your answers will be same. If they ask you, oh, where does your mother-in-law live? And then somebody's like Machakos, this one is like Kisumu, you know? So stuff like that. So those are the things that you need for proving a relationship. All right, let's see. Anybody on TikTok ready for a question? Maybe not. Anybody unmute your mic? All right, I can look at some of these ones over here. So somebody here is like, they were able to apply last day. They did not have the kids' picture. What do? Once you get picked, you cannot add those kids, because if you add those kids, you're going to get denied. So whatever you do with the information I just told you is up to you. But if you add those kids later after you win, you'll get your visa denied. All right. Any question? TikTok? Anybody? Chaps? Or
question.
Oh, hi. What's your question?
Can you please do a video to show how to fill the DSCC? Yeah.
The DS260.
Because I went in your YouTube, I tried to find it. It's a lot of videos. I
think I did one a while ago. I'm gonna do one, like, you know, usually the results when they come out, I do a video of the DS260. Usually I do a single person. And the reason why, like with the DS260, like I have, you know, like I'm just explaining versus doing it, is because when I get into a DS260, it means somebody won the green card lottery. That's somebody else's application, you see? So putting information that's not true there just to do a video, like it's not, you know what I mean? So usually I just open the form and I'm like, this is what you put here. This is what you put here. Maybe that's why like it's not productive at all. That's why people pay me to do the DS260. But that's the only way I can do, explaining. Because if I show you the process, it means I'm in somebody else's DS260. Yeah.
There's another question. How you get that case number? They will send you by email?
No, the case number just after we finish this interview. I mean, I finish my live. You can go on my YouTube. I just explained that in the beginning of this video. So the video will be up on YouTube. So you'll just watch it and then you'll see how you can check your case number. I pulled up a 1NL and I showed where you can find your case number.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, whoever's next. All right. Let's see. This one I don't know. Also, like to prove relationships, like for example, if you applied as divorced, you'll need to show divorce papers. If you apply as separated, you'll need to show separated papers. If you applied as married, you need to show marriage papers. If you applied as single, you don't need to show anything because you're single. They might ask you, do you have a girlfriend? You can say yes or no. There's no right or wrong answer. But yeah. So chaps, you have a.
Okay, my name is David.
Uh-huh.
Hello.
Yeah, what's your question? I can hear you.
My name is David.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear you. You can ask your question.
Okay, I was asking if somebody applied for stream, an address. Do you offer affidavit of support in case somebody?
No, I don't offer it at this time. I don't offer it at this time. And then again, like this video, I just explained about affidavit of support. So if you go to my YouTube name, I know people are asking. NAFULA SHARLEEN is the YouTube name. So if you go after the live, this video will be over there. So you can just watch it and then you know what I talked about affidavit of support. Let's go to the next person, Chineye. Chineye, unmute your mic. Let's see. Somebody's asking the husband and the wife, they use the same picture, both sides. It doesn't affect you as long as it's taken within the last 6 months. So like your wife can apply, the principal applicant use the same picture, the husband puts the same picture, and then the husband applies, use the same picture and puts the wife. As long as the principal applicant is different, you're fine. But people who use the same picture and put 10 entries, they get disqualified. Shinae, what's your question? Or Khadija, whoever.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Please, I want to know if I can use my passport because I apply as an applicant, but I'm not eligible, but my spouse is eligible. So can I use my country of that is not eligible passport to go for the
No,
interview?
you can, yeah, you can use the passport. For example, you're Nigerian and then your husband is Kenyan, and then you use the Kenyan eligibility. You can use your passport, but on your DS-260, you have to say you're immigrating with them. You know, other people, like, they can choose to bring their family or not. Yeah, so if you claim the eligibility based off him and you win, both of you have to be on the DS-260. Both of you have to go to the interview, and even getting into the United States, both of you have to be hand in hand, because you are not eligible to enter the US, but he is. So he's your ticket to get in there. So for right now, if you win the green card lottery, make sure to be very nice to him, because if you're not, that chance is gone. That chance is gone. So be very nice to him. Okay, all right, let's go to the next person. All right, let me see. All these comments is a lot that I don't even know like where to start. That's the problem on my YouTube. All right, Winnie, I don't know if you want to sleep, but let me see somebody else. Shinae is not saying anything. Let's see somebody else. All right, let me see. Somebody's like, do you provide hosting food in the hosting homes? I don't provide food. You come here, you buy your own food, you start working, you buy your own food. I don't provide anything. I just provide the hosting. That's it. It's very affordable that everything else you need to pay. Can you imagine me buying food for all these people I'm hosting? I'll go broke. So everybody, I just give you hosting, you on your own. Goodrich, you have a question?
Nafula.
What's your question?
Actually, I wanted to know, you know, there is when I went to your YouTube, there is nafula.com. I don't know how I can reach you.
No, you go to nafulaconnect.com.
Because I wanted to reach you.
nafulaconnect.com.
So when I go to nafulaconnect.com, can I reach you direct to write to you?
Yeah, so you can just write a message there, send me an email, I'll get it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's what it is. Because I want it, so.
Okay, Monique, let's go to the next person. Monique, what's your question?
Hi, can you get me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My question is, I was once flight entry in the UK because I was working more hours as a student.
Hold on. I don't know why. Am I on? Try again because I can't hear you. I lost.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So my question is, I once went to the UK as a student, and at some point I was denied entry because I was working more than 20 hours. So does that advantage me when I'm filling in the DS-260?
So
the country there?
How long were you in the UK for?
I was there for like 3 years.
Yeah, so the thing like about the green card lottery, after you win, they need police clearance. They need that country to clear you for the embassy. So if you win the green card lottery because you are in the UK for more than 6 months, you'll need police clearance from that country. So depending on what they say, with the clearance, then you'll go from there to determine your embassy thing. So that's all I can say. And like, I don't have a lot of information on that. That's all I know. Like, you need police clearance. But as far as what is considered like, okay, if you're banned from this country, you know, like if you're a terrorist in one country and then you try to go to this other country, or you're smuggling drugs, they will not admit you to this other country. But for the other small reason of staying visas and whatever, I don't know that. But I know like they need clearance from every country that you've lived for 6 months. So that's all I can say about that.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, let's see somebody else.
Hi, Nafula.
Hi, what's your question?
My question is, I applied as a single, yet I'm married. Can that be an issue?
That'd be an issue if you add the husband. Unless like you marry, if you marry him again and you have a new marriage certificate with a date that's after you applied, you can get away with that. But other than that, anything that you lied. The only reason they can deny you a visa if you win the green card lottery is if you lied about something. That's the only reason. Because they don't ask you any other question. They usually ask you questions about yourself. Where did you go to school? Is this your husband? Proof of husband, proof of education. So if they deny you a visa, it's because you lied about something. That's the only reason.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Lydia. Lydia, hi, what's your question?
I have a question about I have a question about the educational levels. There is this notion that the education level should be up to KCSE certificate or equivalent to 3-year working experience. So is it the same thing, or they just choose one?
So usually if you have high school, KCSE, D-, usually in Kenya, you do not need work experience. Work experience is for people who do not have high school. So somebody who maybe dropped out of school when they were in primary school, then probably they need work experience. And like I said, they don't accept all work experience. You have to go to the website and see whatever you do, if it qualifies as a work experience. All right, let's go to Aggie. Aggie, what's your question? You're welcome. Aggie? Maybe not. Aggie? No? All right. There's a lot of people waiting in the...
Hi, NAFULA.
Hi, what's your question? Aggie?
NAFULA, my question is, if I win the green card, then when I am filling the DS to 60, is it possible to add all my family members, like my siblings, my parents?
No.
Or we have a limited number of people to add?
So the people that you added on your application are the people that you will add in your DS to 60, unless it's a new occurrence. Like the only people you can add is either your kids or your spouse. That's the only people you can add on your application. And for your kids, they can be adopted, but then you have to have adopted them for 2 years, I think, before you applied. Or so only biological kids or adopted kids or step kids. So if you marry somebody and they have kids, you don't need to adopt these kids. The fact that you married the father, it means these are your kids. So if you do not add the step kids and then you go to the embassy, you're like, oh, we are married, but then I did not add my step kids, you'll be denied because you're supposed to add step kids on your application. So you can only add mother, father, and kids. Sisters, siblings, they have to apply for themselves. Okay, all right, let me see. And then some people are like, like when you go on my TikTok, I did a video about, even I think I have one on YouTube, I'm not very sure, about reasons why you can be denied a visa. Usually, if you have, like, you say told a lie, you are married, and then you say you're not married, and then they find out or something like that, you get denied. Number two, or if you did not add kids. If you have kids, step kids, adopted kids, you did not add to your application and you had them, you get denied. If you have any class A medical condition, usually is active tuberculosis, not the latent tuberculosis. Active tuberculosis, gonorrhea, syphilis, and some other stuff, you can go on the website and look for class A medical conditions. Something like somebody with bad mental, like schizophrenia, you have very bad mental issues that poses a risk to other people. Or maybe you're a drug addict, you're addicted to cocaine and stuff like that. Your visa is going to get denied. Or some people apply for the green card lottery and then they use their, like, the way I won the green card, and then you decide to use my picture to apply and then you win. If you go to the embassy, you'll be denied because you use the picture that it's not yours. So there's so many reasons to get denied. Or maybe you are in America and maybe you're a J1 student. I came on a J1 visa. So if you have a J1 visa and you're from Kenya, you're subjected to the INA, 212, you're supposed to go back for 2 years, If you're subjected to that and you did not get a waiver, if you win the green card lottery, you cannot process your green card because they will require a waiver. You need the waiver first. If you show up for the interview, they will ask you, where is your waiver? So make sure you get that. Somebody who was deported from the US or banned from the US, maybe you overstayed your visa and then you overstayed for a year, you go back there like you're banned from the US for 10 years or 20 years or whatever, depending, or deported. So you're not eligible to apply or to process the green card because you're already subjected to this ban. Then you cannot, you'll be denied a visa. So there are so many reasons you can be denied a visa, but most of them are very obvious. Like if you lie, you know, just you lied. If you're banned from the US, you're trying to get in, you know you're going to get in. So they don't deny you for a reason that you didn't expect. Usually they deny you for something that you actually did. But then let's see, who's next? Let me see. And then somebody who was asking about like names. They applied with this name, and then after they applied, they decided, oh, maybe their birth certificate is different name, passport different name, school documents different name. Africans do that. Like you go to high school, you just have a realization. You're like, maybe I want to be called Linda, you know, and you change your name to Linda in high school. So that happens. In case that happens, you need to get a sworn name affidavit. And usually that one, pretty much you swear, you're like, this person, these names, all belong to me. So that way, you know, you can get a visa because now you prove like all those different names are yours. In the case where you just change the name, maybe Nafula is my last name, and then I put Nafula as my first name, and then I put Connect as my last name instead of interchanging them. You can change that. You can update that in your DS-260. Or maybe you forgot to add a name or whatever, something like that, that you need a sworn name affidavit. But then it's just like if you, maybe the spelling is wrong. Maybe you forgot one letter. Or maybe the date of birth, instead of saying 76, you say 77. Or you put a year of birth that's different. Or maybe instead of March, you say April for your date of birth. You can change stuff like that in your DS-260. Education level too. Like if you say, oh, maybe I applied, I said I had college degree. And then I realized, whoa, I don't have a college degree. I selected that. On your DS-260, you can update, but then you need to have the minimum requirement of high school. So if you put high school, then you just go there, you're like, yeah, I clicked the wrong information, because usually it confuses people. On the application, it says high school degree. In Africa, you don't get a high school degree. Over here is the only place I think they call high school a degree. So people in Africa, usually they don't select that. They select high school, no degree. You see? So that you'll need to update that and say you have a high school now. You went to this high school, I have certificates. So you can change the education level as long as you have the minimum required. Usually people have not had a problem with that. All right. Who else has a question? Let me see. Anybody can unmute the mic? I don't know if I muted or... All right. Unmute your mic if you come in and just ask really quick. I'm about to sign off. Let's see.
Hello, Nafra.
Hi, what's your question?
I applied at the high school degree with a high school degree, and I have it. At the same time, I did a short course in diploma. So when I'm going for an interview, can I take even the transcript for a diploma, or I use a certificate for high school degree?
Yeah, if you added your diploma in your application somewhere, anything that you add in your application, just think of it like this way. Anything that you used to apply for the green card lottery, that information, the DS-260 information. If you put high school, go with your high school degree over there, like certificate. If you put college, go with your college. Whatever you put, just know like in your DS-260, any answer you put on there, they will require evidence to back it up. So some people, that's why I tell people when they go to the embassy, don't go to the embassy. I know you have all this information. Wait for them to ask you to give them something. They're like, hey, sir, can you give us your high school? Then take only the high school and give it to them. Oh, marriage certificate. Do you have a marriage certificate? Take the marriage certificate, give it to them. Don't just show up, and because you have all these documents, you just start giving it to them. I remember Haruna went with this friend, I think, at the embassy, and then gave them everything. He had applied as high school and then went over there with college degree and whatever. So they gave it, you know, once he got there, they got the college degree, because everything you give them, now they have to evaluate everything. They realized one transcript from 1 year was missing. So now they had to tell him, like, okay, we're putting it on hold. You need to go get that transcript so that it fills the 4 years. But if he just stayed and just gave them the high school, they wouldn't have asked for it. You know what I mean? So when you go to the embassy, whether it's an immigrant or an immigrant visa, just make sure you provide the only thing they ask you. Wait for them to ask and then get it and give it to them. Don't start giving them stuff they didn't ask, because now they'll ask you questions about it.
what of the passport photo, the one I used where applying, can I take it as whether I'm going for an interview?
No, you cannot.
Passport photo.
You cannot, because usually with the passport, they want a passport that's been taken. US, everything US, they need a passport that's 6 months, taken within the last 6 months.
Okay.
So you applied for the green card lottery one. So, and then you are going to the interview in October. So that's like a year, almost, something like that. So yeah, you're not gonna use that. You'll need another, take another passport for, and it's cheap. That's why I'm saying African people, you want the green card lottery. Why would you want to use an old passport? Taking a passport is like how much? That's how we lose. Like, we go there to complicate things for ourselves. Why don't you just go with a new one? why is it even a question? Yeah, you see what I mean? Okay, let's go to the next person. What's your question?
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Any question? Let's see. Some people are here, but I'm just waiting for them. So somebody.
Hi, Nafula.
Oh, hi. What's your question?
My question is, let's say you've not been vaccinated for COVID during the medicals. Can that affect your visa, maybe the denial or acceptance?
They need, like Kenya, they need vaccination. So you need to be vaccinated for the COVID. They'll tell you at the medical. So either they will give it to you, and sometimes some embassy won't. So you'll have to get it somewhere else. But if you don't get the COVID vaccine, they will not approve your visa, because now you're not compliant with their requirements.
So they can allow you to get it outside there, maybe.
Yeah, like Rumbi was able to get it outside. So some people will just get it, and then by the time you go there, you have proof that you got vaccinated for the COVID. Then you skip that process altogether.
Okay, and do I need a passport to fill in the DS-260?
No, you don't. But it's highly recommended you put it.
Okay,
because if you put your passport, then you won't have to unlock the DS-260. But then if you don't have it, and it's going to take long to get it, then just complete it without a passport, and then you can unlock it. Or if you're not able to unlock, you can just take it to the embassy interview with you.
Okay, and how do I petition for the kids after now the 2 to 3 years?
Oh, so that's a long process. That I cannot explain on video. It's a long process. Usually people pay me for that, so that's not free. I only give dvlottery winners information for free because it's a long process. So that one next time. All right, let's go to the next person.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. Oh, so here somebody's asking, during the application I wrote a different place of birth. When my national ID came in, it's different place. So usually at the embassy, they want government issued identification that's relevant. Usually like your national ID won't come to play here. They're looking at your birth certificate and they're looking at your passport. Those two documents have to match. And for example, if you put a different place of birth and then this one is different, like I said, in Africa, we have villages. The European people, American people, they have no idea what the names of our villages are. Like when I say over there, Rangi, Musikoma, they'll be like, whoa, what is that? So if you have a different name on the passport and here, you just say, you see, this is the name of the village where I was born. And this is the town where I was born. So they have to figure that out because our villages are not documented. So that's how people got away with that. Even Haruna is like, okay, they told him, I think Mukono and some, that's what he said. That this place is in this place. And then they'll be okay with it. But unless you put a different country, but then if you just put a different place, then one is a village of whatever the other one is. All right, any question? Let's see another question. So somebody's like, I broke up with my partner earlier this year, but we don't have legal marriage documents and no kids. Will they need any evidence that I was married? So if you're legally married and then you break up, get legal separation papers or divorce papers. Because if you selected married, they will want to know where is the marriage certificate. And then if you separated and you're not processing with them, you'll be like, yeah, we are divorced or we are legally separated and here's the documentation for it. So anything you put there, they will require evidence for it. So that's how I can answer that question. All right, so.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What's your question?
Okay, I would love to ask a question. Like for instance, I'm here in Kenya. I don't have a visa, but I need somebody to give me like papers over there. We arrange something like marriage, and then I pay the person. Is that possible?
It's not, because it's illegal in the US.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do that, I'm not
Okay,
gonna
but-
help you do that, but it's illegal. So I'm not
Okay,
gonna
it
speak.
is illegal, but you
I'm
can
not
arrange.
gonna speak to that. Like I do everything that I do is on the book. So I'm not gonna tell you something to do something shady. You can do it if you want, but like I'm gonna tell you like that's illegal because that marriage wouldn't be like it's a legal marriage. It's like arranged marriage. You're paying somebody to get papers. That's illegal in the US. So I'm not gonna tell you how to do that.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next person.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go to the next person. Let me see here. Somebody is asking, can I fill DS-260 with a marriage affidavit? So with the DS-260, you don't need to upload anything. That's the good thing about the DS-260. All information is typed in. So they will just ask you hold on, somebody's mute that mic. Yeah, so I'm gonna mute that mic. All right, so with the DS-260, all information is typed in. So you log in and then you type in like your name, high school, you type in, when did you get married, you type in, what's the name of your spouse, you type in, what's your host address, you type in. You do not need to upload anything in the DS-260. So the way you, even the application, you know, green card lottery application, you needed only your passport. You uploaded something. DS-260, you do not need to upload anything. Everything you just type it in. And then when you go to the embassy, all this information that you typed in, you'll be required to provide evidence for it. So you'll be required, like you said you're married, marriage affidavit is not accepted here because they want marriage certificate. So if you have an affidavit of marriage, you probably need to go register that marriage and get a marriage certificate to go to the embassy with it. Because marriage affidavit is proves like traditional marriage. So some embassy won't take that. They want like legal, because traditional marriages are not, you know, recognized in the US. So you need to register that marriage and get like a legal, you know, marriage certificate, traditional marriage certificate. And then once you register, you can use that at the embassy. So DS-260, no uploading any documentation in there. So everything is all filled out. That's why it's very easy to complete it. You just need the host address and all that information, and that's it. All right. Anybody next? You can, so somebody's asking, no, not that one. I pulled up the wrong one. All right. I submitted married with no kids, but my wife is pregnant. We're expecting a baby in June. So when you win, yeah. So if you applied as single and you're currently not married to your wife, if you win the green card lottery, and maybe at that time this kid is born, you can add this kid to your DS-260 because it's a new occurrence. You know, it's a kid who showed up after you already applied, so it won't hurt you in any way. And if you want to come with that girlfriend, you just marry her. If you marry her, you can add her to your DS-260, and then you can add this new child to your DS-260. This child is good because it proves that that marriage is genuine. If you're having babies, it means that marriage is legit. So that's how I can say that. Let me see. What are the questions? All right, whoever is on there, you can talk. Whoever was talking before, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Let me see other good questions here. Some of the questions I've already answered. So either you go back and watch this video after it uploads on YouTube. It's gonna upload because I didn't play any music. Every time I play music, they ban everything. They're like, oh, copyright, screaming copyright. Today I didn't play any music, so it should be good. All right, let's see. So somebody is asking, living in Abu Dhabi, but all the certificates are in French. So I don't know where to translate the certificates, where over there in France, you know, I don't know. But usually you'll need to translate everything that's not in English. Like if you are in any country, French-speaking country, Arabic-speaking country, you'll need to translate all your documentation that are going to the embassy into English. And then if you can't speak English, make sure like you have either, you know, somebody who's going to be translating for you. And somebody, make sure like you get somebody who understands what they're saying, who understands English. Don't just get anybody. Because if they ask the person like, oh, are you planning to do terrorist activity in the United States? And they do not understand the question. And then they talk to you and then you say yes. you might be denied a visa, not because like, you know, you didn't know what they were saying, right? So they ask you a question because they don't want terrorists here, something like that. So when you get a translator, make sure like they know English, they understand English, they can translate it accurately. Yeah, you can ask your question. Let's see. Maybe add somebody else. All right, you can ask your question. Is it called Abapa? You're on. Can you ask your question, or maybe? Yeah. What's your question?
I want to ask. Yeah, I want to ask. When you win the visa, the American lottery, I want to ask whether when you apply for the DS-260 and you put the high school and you failed, what if you failed all the subjects? Can you still get a visa?
So usually it depends with their country. Like I said, like I'm gonna speak for Kenya. Kenya, they need like a D minus for Kenya. So with a D minus, all right, somebody is over here. I'm gonna mute them. All right, so Kenya needs a D minus. So as long as you have a D minus, you'll be approved. They don't care what you got in these subjects. So with your country, if you're from West Africa or you're from whatever country, make sure what's the minimum grade. I think somebody, I'll just drop them. All right, as long as you're from West Africa, as long as you have the minimum grade, usually high school, they have a minimum grade. Like in Zimbabwe, it's a C. In Kenya, it's a D minus. Zimbabwe is a C. So they don't care what you got in these subjects. They just care about the final grade. And also with education, I had like, they're not supposed to verify, you know, there's other countries, like somebody comes with fake documents. You know, there's some countries, like especially countries that had, you know, war, stuff like that. So it's hard to verify documents and stuff. So you come over there, you can barely speak. You say, yeah, I spoke English. I went to school speaking English. And then, you know, I completed chemistry or something. The embassy is not supposed to do this, but then some embassy I had, like, you know, they can do that. Like they can ask you just a stupid question, you know, like if you go to maybe high school, you probably know like the solid, you know, liquid, gas, stuff like that. Simple thing about biology or chemistry. They might ask you a question, like if you didn't do biology all your life, you'll not be able to know that. So sometimes, like if they can't verify documents, I think it happened, was it in Ghana? I forgot what embassy that was. But then somebody was asked a question that like they were supposed to know, like everybody needs to know. Like if you went to school, first to do that, they look at your documents, you say you scored all A's, but then like whatever you show up and then now you're trying to speak, like it's not relating. They're like, is this documents, do they belong to you? So sometimes if they don't have a way to verify, I think maybe it was Rwanda, I don't remember where this guy is from, but then that's how they found out like those documents were fake because he lied, he got all A's, and then like he was not able to hold a basic conversation. So yeah, that part. Okay, let's have another question. Let's see. Somebody has a question. They're working in Qatar and they, you know, they don't have a host. What do I do? If you don't have a host, you can watch this video explain how to get a host. But then is it okay to complete the interview in Qatar or Kenya? So usually, like if you win the green card lottery and you're out of the country, Haruna was in Saudi Arabia, and then maybe he's also from Uganda. So you have two options. You can do it on your home country. You can do it in Abu Dhabi, where he went to. So first, like check how is the two embassies performing, because you're allowed to do in both. So if this embassy like performs really well, you might schedule there, or maybe if that's convenient for you, maybe you work there. Traveling to Uganda all the way to Kenya or Tanzania again to do the embassy that's a hassle, you know. So Haruna decided to do his interview in Abu Dhabi. That way it's closer, it's quicker, he got his visa. So whichever way, you can do it either in Kenya, you can do it in Qatar, whatever embassy. But then of all the embassies, like you have to check if that embassy processes DV lottery winnings, because not all American embassies do. Like for example, if you're in Uganda embassy, American embassy in Uganda, they do not process DV lottery winnings. So you have to go either to Kenya or to Tanzania if you're Ugandan. So just make sure wherever you are, if the embassy processes DV lottery winning, why not? Even if you're in America and you win the green card lottery, you don't have to go to Africa. You just check here. The process is usually more cumbersome. And then also, like here, sometimes the processing takes a long time, especially if you're sending documents over there and they're backlogged. Though they say the DV lottery winning, like they're supposed to expedite that, but then sometimes they don't. So when you win and you're in America, so you have to wait, and then when the number becomes current, then you have to do all your paperwork, adjustment of status, make sure you do them right. And then when you send with all that information, because if there's a missing information, that's delayed because they're sending you a letter and then you have to send this information. So sometimes by the time you do all that, if it's like August, September, you might lose your chance because you're in the wrong country or you're processing from the wrong country. Usually the easiest way is to process, go to the consulate, back to your home country is usually easier. But then I say because of convenience, either you're working there or you're here, you're a student, you can't go back home and stuff like that, then you can process in an embassy outside your home country. Or if you're in Ghana, like, an embassy that doesn't perform very well. So any other embassy probably will be better than them. Okay, let's see. Let me see what's the other question here. Or anybody on my TikTok, anybody who comes in, you can start talking. And then that way, let me see. Anybody on my TikTok? I have a lot of people waiting. Let's put these people up. When you come in, just mute your mic. That way we don't have background noise. Otherwise, I'll have to drop. All right. What's your question, Joyce? Joyce? That's the problem. Like you add a lot of people and then they come in and then there's background noise. Okay, whoever is on right now, can you ask a question? Joyce? All right, I'm just gonna drop her. All right, sometimes working TikTok and YouTube is a lot of work. All right, so I think we've answered many questions. Let me see. So somebody is like, okay, I'm concerned about the DS260, currently in India. So I should write as India, present address, or Tanzania, my previous address. So usually sometimes, some people who change embassies, what you need to do, you can actually unlock your DS260 and update the address, current address. So once you update the current address, then they will schedule you to an, let me mute this person. Yeah, so they will schedule you to an embassy closest to that present address where you currently at. So what does that tell you? It tells you the current address that you put in there where you currently live, it should be where you intend to do your embassy. Usually you can select in your DS260, you can say Nairobi or whatever, but then like the current address matters. Sometimes that determines where your embassy, where you'll be scheduled for an interview. Because if you live in, you said your current address at this time is in Qatar, and like sometimes they're like, okay, why would we schedule in Kenya when your current address is in Qatar? So yeah, that's how you do it. Like, make sure your address matches where you want to get your interview scheduled. All right, let's see. All right, now you can unmute one of them. Scorpion, maybe. I don't know what his name is. Anybody and unmute your mic and then you can ask the question. Let's see. Yeah, for those asking, my YouTube name is NAFULA SHARLEEN. All this video, it's going to be on my YouTube. So if you have any questions, you can come and you can watch it and then you can see what we talked about earlier. So, let's see. Any questions? Lance, maybe?
Hi.
Hi, do you have a question?
Yes, I have.
Okay, what's your question?
What if maybe, yeah, my question, what if maybe I want you to host I and my husband? Will the cost be the same? Or maybe it is per person? You charge
No, it's per person. The cost is per person. pretty much. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, the cost is per person. Yeah, because I don't know. Who am I talking to? Like I feel I don't know. Somebody's mic is on. I don't know how to turn it off. Anyhow, I'll just disconnect.
Okay. There are.
Let's see. So usually, like I host the price is per person, and this is the reason why. If you're single, your room is gonna be smaller than somebody who's married. So somebody who's married, I'm not gonna squeeze you into a little room. So your room is bigger, so you're gonna cost more. So that's how, like, with the hosting, that's how we determine that. And then we try to make sure, like, married people, there's a room that's private and stuff like that. Like you share everything else, but then your room is away from the other people. So that's what it's priced per head. So if you're coming maximum 2 people and it's $650, probably you pay double of that. All right, let's see. Somebody has a question. Somebody's asking about embassy performance. You have to go check the data online and see what embassies is performing what and doing what. Usually, I don't dwell into statistics myself. Like I know, there's some other YouTubers who, like, they're big into, like, this is the statistics of here. There's some people who are big into, like, knowing how many people won the green card lottery in 2020 and how many won in 2023. Let's look at the data. I don't do that because I feel like it's a waste of time. Me knowing how many people won in 2020, how is that information helpful to help me? I'd rather invest that time in teaching you how to, come to America and get your social security number. That's more helpful information than people who won in 2020. Embassy performance as well. Like if you already did your DS260, you already, like, selected Nairobi, you do not plan on going to another embassy, why are you checking how other embassies are performing? It's not like you want to go there, it's not like you want to go to another embassy. So why are you bothering yourself checking how other embassies are performing if you're not going to change your embassy? Invest that time in learning how to process your visa. Invest that time in knowing how to book a ticket. Invest the time for research into, like, when you come here, the steps of getting a social security number. How do I apply for jobs? Watch interviews, videos on YouTube about how people interview in America for jobs. Watch that stuff, is going to help you. People crazy about statistics. How is the embassy performing where? Why do you need that information? You don't want to change your embassy. Some people, they will make you believe that you need this information, but you actually do not. Knowing the statistics, you can know all the statistics about all the embassies, everything, and still win and not schedule an interview. What are you going to do? You have 70,000, you know all the statistics. You think they'll be like, okay, let's give you an interview to know how well you know about the DV lottery to schedule you? No. So invest that time in actually things that will help you in America versus learning about statistics. That's why somebody's asking me, how do you check this, how many people won, who applied when, and what's the statistics? How is that helping you? You either win or you don't win. And after you win, there's also 2 things. You either schedule an interview or you don't. And after that happens, after you're scheduled for an interview, there's also 2 things. Either you'll get a visa or you will not. Everything else about statistics, no point. I don't see the point of that. That's why I don't invest my time in that. All right, let's see. Lance, let's see. Good luck. Or Cyrax, Kamau, you can unmute your mic and see. Hey, what's your question? All right.
Hey, Nafula, how are you?
I'm good. What's your question?
My question is, fill the DV form. My question is, I fill the DV form as if I'm living in my birthplace, but I'm living and working in another part of the country. So if, let's say, if I won the DV lottery,
so let me ask you.
Problem.
So let me ask you one question.
When I feel that is 260.
So when you applied for the green card lottery, what did you select as the country of eligibility? Do you remember? Maybe not. Oh, can you hear me? You can hear me or not? All right, anyhow, I'm going to just cover the general thing about applying. So when you apply for DV lottery, whether you are in the US, Brussels, UK, for example, I'm a Kenyan living in Brussels. When I apply for the green card lottery, I always claim eligibility from the country of birth. So I'll claim eligibility as a Kenyan. So when I do the DS260, my case number, I'm going to be selected as AF. But for example, I live in the UK and I claim eligibility as a European. My number is going to be different. It's not going to be AF. So how am I going to process my visa when I'm in the wrong region to begin with? You have to be in the right region. So if you're in Africa, you always claim eligibility from your country of birth. Unless your country of birth is not eligible, like Nigerians are not eligible. In that case, if you're married, you can claim eligibility based off your spouse's country of birth, or maybe sometimes you are born in Nigeria, but both of your parents are not from Nigeria. They were there as diplomats or they were there tourists, and then you just happen to be born in Nigeria. That way you can also apply for the green card and claim eligibility based off of your parents' place of birth. So, and if you claim the right eligibility, then you should be good. But if you claim the wrong eligibility, that might be a problem when you have to be scheduled for the interview in your region. All right, so let's see some questions here. All right, so somebody's asking about the hosting price. I mean, first installment, one is supposed to pay before or after you arrive. So hosting before I was doing like you arrive before paying, but now I can't afford it. I'm hosting so many people. So if you don't pay, I'm not able to host you because I don't have money to buy mattresses, covers, whatever, and everything else. So you need to give the money first for us to prepare the room for you to land. So you're not going to come from Africa without paying. You have to find money. Over there, you can find, as long as you won the green card lottery and you want to make it to America, if you got a school over here and they needed that amount of money, you will find the money. So the same exact concept. So if you want to come to America, you want to be hosted, even if you go to a hotel, you still have to pay. You know what I mean? So hosting is before you arrive. You pay before you arrive so that you can get your room ready. Otherwise, where are you coming to? You haven't paid everything. You don't have a room. Where are you coming to? You're just going somewhere with no, like now, even if you go to can you go to like a country, not even a country, can you go to somewhere like for vacation without paying for it? Even if you're coming for vacation, or can you just fly to Dubai without paying for it? You just don't fly to a different country without paying for it. You have to prepare where you're going. So usually you have to pay, and then we prepare your hosting. Otherwise, now I cannot. Before I used to do it, but now I can't. I can't afford it. I told you, if you donate on my website and I have enough money, or you send me enough lions on my TikTok, if you send me enough, then guess what? I'm going to host everybody first month for free. But if nobody's donating anywhere, how do you expect me to give if you yourself are not ready to give? How many times, like not for me, even on other platforms, have you gone out and given something for free? So somebody's like, oh, I want to, can you host people for free? I'm like, you live in Africa. Every day you are walking to and back from home. You get a lot of homeless people, chokoras, everybody on the street. How many people have you invited to your house and hosted them for free? So if you're not inviting that chokora to come and live in your house for free, how do you expect me, a stranger, to invite you to my house to live for free? Same exact concept. So start by doing that first and tell me, you see, I'm hosting all these people for free. I'm giving back to the community. Now I need hosting. Yes. But if you're not helping anybody else, don't expect strangers to also, come through for you. So that's how I put it. I'm like, I'm just doing hosting. I do hosting. It's very reasonable price. And that's why you can pay. I know you can afford. And if you come here, you get a job. Even if you're making $1,000, $5,000, the price doesn't change. It's going to be the same price. So it's reasonable. So that's all I can help with. But then like free stuff, hakuna free. Hakuna vitu ya free. All right, let's see. Vera? I think there's Vera there. Vera, do you have a question? Vera? No? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think I've answered most of your questions. I'm just going to run through the hosting. After you receive your green card lottery results in May 4th, I'll be coming live to answer just a few questions that you have. especially I'll be doing videos before the results come in, so you know how to do certain things. So one, you win your green card lottery. Once you have a confirmation number, you go on the website, apply for hosting. That's the first thing. Don't pay. Apply for hosting. Once you apply for hosting and I get back to you, I tell you there's availability, then you can go ahead and pay. Depending on your case number, you might pay just for the address or you might pay for the hosting. That's that. And then after that, when you go to the embassy, if I'm hosting you, I'm going to give you all my information. When you go there, they ask you who's hosting you, then you can give my information, and then that's it. So that's it about hosting. Hosting is paid. If you go to my website, nafulaconnect.com, click on the paid services, and then you can see. And some people are asking, like, oh, how do you, you're hosting people. Why don't we see these people you're hosting? So let me see if I can pull people on my, let me share the screen. So like you see here, when you go to my website and you click on DV lottery winners, people are like, oh, you're only hosting Ugandans, you're only hosting, I don't know. You know, people just, they have just something to say about everything. But if you go to my website, like DV lottery winners, you will see the people we are hosting. You see Rumbis from Zimbabwe, Elia, Ghana, we have Michael, Geoffrey right here. We have Juma, Ciara. So you can go over there and look at the people we are hosting. So everybody we host usually, like I said, everything that I do on my program is very transparent. I'm very transparent. So if you don't see somebody here, that's why all my payments, even on my website, it says pay through nafulaconnect.com. I don't take cash money from M-Pesa, whatever. I won't contact you in your message asking you pay for this money. No. All the payments is either PayPal or with a card, and it goes through the website. So that way, when somebody says, Nafula took my money and did not give me hosting, I'm like, where do you have proof that you have a receipt of payment? Where do you have proof that I said I'm going to host you? That's why I do email. Email, I can print it out. I'm like, print out all the messages that I said I'm going to host you. That's why when you look, you haven't seen anybody. Like I haven't seen even one single person come out, do a video saying I was scammed by Nafula. Nafula took my money. Nafula said this and didn't follow through. Because even me, when I do a Zoom meeting with you, I'm recording everything. I'm all about evidence. I'm recording everything. I tell you I'm going to host you, it's getting recorded. You said you're going to pay amount of money, I'm recording. You pay through the website, I print out and put it in your file. So if you come with any allegations, you'll have to provide proof. Otherwise, I'll countersue you and you have to pay me then. You see, so I do everything very, very, very transparent. And like I said, if I have to do is 2 people maximum in a room, unless there's desperation where somebody's visa is going to run out or expire, then I can do 3 people in a room. I will never do more than 3 people in a room. Even 3 people is like a stretch for me. I only do 2 or single rooms because you guys are adults. You don't want somebody, maybe they don't shower, they smell over there, or somebody else over there snoring, somebody else over there, their culture, or somebody's religious. They wake up at 4, they want to pray in the room. How are they going to pray in the room with 9 other people in the same room? So we try to provide, it's a stretch, but we try to provide a certain degree of privacy. And people are like, oh, where are you going to host all these people? I'm not going to host everybody who applies. First come, first serve. So if I get the maximum amount of people and I know I run out of space, I'll close that. So when you go to the website, you can't see like apply for hosting because I don't have any place to put people. Until I find a space, then I will open it back up. And if you're on my website, maybe you notice there's something that's not clear, something is missing, or something could be done better. You can just, send me a message or email me. You're like, there's something I really had a hard time. I do like, the designing and everything for my website. I do it myself. There's people who can do it for me, but I like to do it myself because that way I know what I'm looking at. I know what I want. So like I made it in the first page. Like if you go here, I'll just go, let me just go show you. So like with this page here, when you look at Nafula Connect, let me go here. Like when you look at this page, what did I lost it? Okay. So when you look at this is the landing page. So when you go to nafulaconnect.com, this is going to be your landing page. And I have it like it's set up. I edited it so that it's very easy to use. So this is the home screen. All the paid services, if you want to know like how much to pay for whatever, the paid services are right here. Guest and host pairing to apply, it's right here. DV lottery winners we are hosting. If you want to see who we are hosting, you just click this tab here. If you want to contact us or know anything about me, is over here. And then I made it like on the landing page, so it welcomes you. And then when you go here, it says apply for hosting. So when you click this apply for hosting, it takes you directly to the form where you have to apply. It's very easy. So you're not going to get lost and say like, I didn't know where to find anything. And then if you want to know the packages for hosting, if you don't want to go through, navigate through the top pages, you can just click here to see what package. Do you need just address? Do you need whatever you need? It's going to be on these hosting services. And here is like people who want to donate. I have donators, like people, if you've ever donated on my website, even if it's $1, thank you very much. It goes a long way to help buy stuff for people, buy food for people when they come here and they don't have money. So people who donate, you can donate by card or by PayPal. If you want to go to, you want to shop, I have stuff there. I sell cups and whatever, t-shirts, sweaters, all that. You can just click this tab and then it takes you right to the shopping. And then if you want to contact us, it's down here. So usually my website is very, very, very easy to navigate. Like you can't say that it's very hard to get anything. I've made it in the simplest way. And if you can get like, if you have like suggestion, if you're like, okay, if you put this one here, it'll be easier to find. Then I will just change it. It takes me a minute to do it. So let me see if I have anything. I don't host kids. People are asking about hosting kids. I do not host kids, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I do not host kids. I wish I could maybe in the future, if I get people who donate. I say that laughing because I know like it's so hard to get people to donate. Like people don't like donating. They just want things for free, but then they don't want to donate anything. But anyhow, if I get in the future, I get people to donate, then I can offer services for free. And like I said, the paid services here, let me see. It's right here on the paid, $50 for the basic. Premium is $150 if you want me to help you with your DS260, and then $650. That's the hosting package. If you want me to host you, then that will be your hosting package. So I think I'm done for the day. I think I'm done. So I'm gonna end the live unless anybody has a quick last question, then I can answer it really quick. Let's see. Yeah, if you want to know why I don't host kids, if you go to my TikTok is NAFULA USA. There's a video there. It explains all the reasons why I don't host kids. It's not because I don't like kids. I have kids myself. But then I explain why I don't host kids, because it's just too much. I can't handle. People are asking what state I host in New York. So if I'm going to host you, come to New York. People are you hosting in New York? New York is very expensive. New York is expensive for people like me who own property, own all these businesses. It's expensive for me. But coming as a new DV lottery winner is not expensive at all. Why? When you go to school here, it's free. So if you come here as a DV lottery winner because you don't have any history of income, you can qualify for Excelsius. I don't know how to pronounce it very well, scholarship. Go to school for free, or you can get the Pell and Tap Award and go to school for free. So either way, your school is going to be free. So you can be anything you want to be. Because you're living with me and you're just paying the rent for that place, you don't have any taxes, you don't have anything. You're taking the bus to work or taking Uber. So you are not going to have, it's not going to be expensive for you at all, living with me. Unless you move and buy property and start doing your own things, then probably that might be expensive. But just living with me, when I'm hosting you, it's going to be very, very, very cheap. All right. So thanks for watching. I'm going to be coming live once in a while on the 4th, when the results come out, I think May 4th. So when the results come out, I'll be live. I'll try to find a nanny for my kids. So I'll come live. I'll help you. If you want to check the results, I'll have a way of either you email it me. I don't want you to type, over here, everybody's seeing your confirmation and stuff. Either you can email, or if you're on TikTok, you can send it as a message. We can check for you. If you won, we'll just send you a message. We're like, you know what, you won. If you want to apply for hosting, get on it. So I'll be here on May 4th, hopefully. And then we'll do that. So for my YouTube people, it's bye for now. I think I'm going to end for live. My live, I think I answered most of your questions. I know maybe I didn't answer all, but let's meet next Tuesday. I'll be here, or any other day. I feel like I'll be alerting you when I'm coming live. Other than that, thanks for joining me. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so everything I said, make sure you double check with an immigration lawyer. But other than that, thanks for following me. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting my hustle, my business, my everything. I hope I give back the best that I can to the best of my ability. Otherwise, my YouTube fans, bye for now. I'm going to say bye to my TikTok fans, and then that'll be it. All right. Thanks for watching. All right.